All right, all right. We're having this conversation. We're gonna just we're gonna have the conversation to end all conversations about this one. Let's see. What up, y'all? So, we're gonna have this conversation. Before we do that though, let's put some music on. Share the live. You guys go ahead. Let's share the live. Let's get some folks in here so we can have a good open dialogue about this. Because I think we can put this to rest. I think we can put it to rest if we talk about this. We have the right conversation about it. So that was crazy, right? People are absolutely nuts, man. And it just goes to show, like it's a beautiful thing. It's the gift and the curse that you have folks who have their own platform, right? One, because you get to hear their thinking play out. You get to hear what it is that they're saying being completely described instead of just a snippet. And then in addition to that, you get to understand what the pushback is on the idea and whether or not it makes any goddamn sense at all. Right? So, and what we're finding is that a lot of people, they don't really make any damn sense. Right? They don't make any sense. You know? Yup. I'm telling you, Michi, I agree with you 100%, bro. Hey, come up with me, man. I just invited you where you can chat.
What's going on, Black Jesus?
Hey, peace, man. How's it going, brother?
I'm good. Yeah,
Man, we are living in a crazy time in the world, don't you think?
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like they're completely like the vast majority of people. This is one of the things I figured out is the vast majority of people are not rational or practical thinkers.
Yeah,
Full stop. Like that's hey, what's up, Jesse? Yeah, like they just most people are not able to think from the beginning premise to why I think this. And I got some homeboys and they're all egghead motherfuckers like me, right? Where we sit up and read and we're always like I probably read 8 to 15 articles a day. I'm reading 6 different books right now. I'm constantly consuming information. I don't have television shows per se that I just sit up. I'll have something that I binge watch, but that's not how I entertain myself. I entertain myself by trying to figure out what the hell is going on. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And one of the things that I figured out is that most people they have been taught, but they have not learned. And what that means is that what you believe is what somebody told you. You were taught that. But what you
right.
believe is not what you have learned, what you have gone out and tested and figured out, hey, this is what works and this is what doesn't. So you got a whole bunch of people who theoretical as fuck, and they're talking a whole bunch of conceptual bullshit that doesn't make enough sense to work in the world. And because they haven't had to test it, they don't know that the shit don't work. You know? So
Yeah,
what you gonna do, man? Hey, where are you from?
I'm from Georgia.
You from Georgia? Are you a
I'm
married
from
guy?
Georgia. Yeah. No,
Married?
no, I'm
You got
single.
kids?
I'm on. I know. No, I'm only 29. I'll be 30
Oh, you're
next year.
29. Okay, all right. Have you
Yeah.
found the girl?
No, I'm working. No, I'm focused. No, I'm focused on trying to build my career up. I'm going. I'm
Okay.
going date. Yeah. I'm
What do
not dating.
you
Huh?
you said you're not dating?
I'm not dating till well, I'm gonna start dating till I'm 35 years old. Then when I'm 46, I'm gonna have kids. That's what I decided to do.
Yeah, you said I'm putting a pause on all of this bullshit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, yo. They asked me, they say, where all the good black men at? I say hide it from your ass. That's what I tell
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah, they say, where all the good black men
Bro,
at? They said, What's up, Mike?
Bro, I don't like what I just seen. What they was.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
see that
crazy.
too. They was going off. They blocked you because you was telling the truth, and they didn't like it.
Yeah,
You
like
speaking the
they
truth
always
now.
Oh,
want to
it's,
go to they always want to go to my personal life, and then when I answer the questions, then they just call me a liar. Or they vilify what I've done. Like, oh, you're divorced, so that means you can't say anything. Like, what? Like, I don't get that. I don't get it. Here's the point right here. If you had a good counter argument, you would say that. But because you don't, you go to trying to attack somebody's personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like we talking about the community. Imagine we talk about the community. A woman make a good point, and I'm like, "Girl, you fat." Like, you know what I mean? Like, in a meeting,
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? You know, like you're passing over everything that I'm saying so that you can try to find some hole in my personal life, so that you can focus on that instead of talking about what the hell we were talking about. You know, that means you instantly lost the argument if you have no response except to try to attack somebody personal. You know?
yeah.
Oh, hey, Peggy said the good black men are out here getting haircuts. Isn't it Tuesday? They're open now. Hey, Peggy, yes, I'm going to get a haircut today. I've got an appointment at 4 o'clock for to get cut up. So the next time y'all see me, I'll be so fresh and so clean. So I apologize for the state of my hair. But you know, I work from home and I work on my own schedule, right? So oftentimes what that means, unless I'm on a Zoom meeting in front of a webcam or something like that, then you know, I'm just walking around. Y'all lucky I got pants on while you talking shit. You know. So I'll get my
yeah,
hair
that
done.
that yeah that argument. The argument became feminine. It became about feelings over facts.
Yeah.
And
I see. Yeah, I
you
see the
know, I
whole thing.
I notice in female arguments, it's who can scream the loudest and who can get the last word over who said what's right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's what that became. And
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't advocate for black men to abandon black women. I'm fucking black Jesus for fuck's sake. Like I'm not advocating for black men to not deal with black women. However, there is a dominant mindset inside of and a dominant narrative inside of our community that I think every man should avoid no matter what race the woman is. And it is incredibly dominant and common with our women. And so men should avoid women with that mindset, black or otherwise. And I make the point that there are good men or good women and that you need to find those women. But here are things you need to categorically pass on. Categorically pass on single, independent, don't need a man. Categorically pass on I want a man, I don't need a man. Right? Categorically pass on body count doesn't matter. Categorically pass on these women. Like, don't try. I have the conversations for all the people who watch so that young men who are watching can hear and be like, okay, that makes sense. That is why I shouldn't accept that. That does make sense. I don't have the conversations with them because I feel the need to change these people I don't know in their mind. I don't. The conversation is an example that I'm giving to younger men so that they can say, yeah, no, the reason that I don't want a woman who doesn't think giving access to her body is meaningful is because the marriages are more likely to fail. The women are more unhappy in marriage. The women are more likely to cheat. It's been statistically proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. I know that. Oh, we got this pair bonding thing. Women break their ability to pair bond. That's number two. You got alpha widows. Like you got all of these different concepts that stack on top of each other as to why, if you're a man and you're looking for a wife, you should avoid a woman, if you can, avoid a woman who has let the whole team hit. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm having the conversation. I don't think I'm going to change the minds of these people who have been trained to think this way for 20, 30 years. You know, they're living in a reality that tells them they are wrong. They sitting up with kids by multiple men, unmarried, can't find a good man. And so everything about their reality is telling them they're wrong. So they're not going to listen to me. I don't have the hubris to think that just because I started talking, they don't think that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? If your entire reality can tell you that your thinking is wrong and you ignore that, then you're not gonna listen to little old me. You know what I'm saying? The reason I have the conversation is for people who are watching, who are going to benefit from hearing a logical, practical response to complete and utter bullshit. You know what I mean?
And then it's not really productive once you realize somebody's trying to argue with you, and now they're trying to get you to volunteer information that they never had before, just so they can use something else to argue with you for. That's
Right.
stupid and it's feminine.
It's
Yeah.
the common tactic of when you cannot defeat the message, you attack the messenger. That happened to me when I was on this platform the other day. I'm the one that whose name is an acronym standing for promoting harmony and respect all over humanity. I'm the one who said when I left America, I'm currently living in Thailand. I'm the one who said when I left America, it had nothing to do with hating black women or things like that. It was about me finding a better life. I'm not a passport bro. I'm not a passport boy. I'm a black expat. You know what I'm saying? I live in another country and I'm not coming back. Now, it just so happened after I got here, about a month or so after I got here, I found an amazing woman. Now, is she black? No. This is my very first interracial relationship I've ever been in my life. However, had I found that in America, she would have been over here in Thailand with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the issue is, it was in, and I'll take accountability on my end, and because sometimes there was good women out there that we as men will overlook because they didn't have the right body, they didn't look a certain way, blah blah blah. That's something we have to hold ourselves accountable for. So that's something we have done now. Because I can't say the vast majority of our women are not was representative in the things we see on television. Unfortunately, those are just the ones who've been getting the loudest platform, and it's done by design. Willie Lynch letters in full effect. It's written, the whole thing is written on my page. If you got the time, read it, and you realize everything to the syllable is what's happening in America. They got a multi-billion-dollar industry set up just to keep us fighting with our women and having our women fighting against us. They got billions of dollars behind this. And whenever we start getting to the point where we start having a point of agreement, they got some paid provocateur or someone whose job is simply to just create chaos and misinformation out there to post it out there. And they'll use anybody who's searching for clout, anybody who's trying to get any type of money, they'll use them. They'll promote the hell out of any type of toxicity to make sure we stay at odds with each other. Then the issue is they realize that the whole analogy of house divided can never stand, and it's a psychological warfare going on against us, and we cannot be able to win this war with our weapons formed against each other.
I
It's
agree
not.
with that. I agree. Like I look at, so check this out. My man Christian, that's in the comment section. So Christian, there are a lot of toxic women in our community, but I want you to be careful with saying that, because then you got this woman right above you, Jazzy, who's like, hey, with the victim mentality. Like, so this is a woman that doesn't fall into that box. Does she feel like does she feel safe being in this space if we make black women a monolith when they're not?
Exactly.
Right? There are good black women that are here in America, right? They're just so much smaller percentage of our women, because the dominant narrative is to tell them that you can fuck anybody you want, and your husband, if he cares about that, he's got a little Vienna sausage for a penis. And it's not the fact that men don't want to marry hoes. That has nothing to do with it. It's got to do with the fact that his penis is little and he's insecure about that. And that's why he's got a problem with the fact that you was into orgies during your 20s. That's the problem. That makes more sense, right? And so we got to make sure our sisters feel safe coming in here and having this dialogue with us, because I personally believe that if black men and women save the community, they would change the world. I believe that there's so much pressure on black men and women here in America because we are the only cultural export this country has. And everybody looks to us for what is most popular, what is most cool. Whatever it is we do, everybody else is going to do. And
As,
so,
as somebody living in Thailand, you are 100% correct because they watched everything with us, and that's why a
yeah,
lot of them got very upset because they felt insulted, feeling like when brothers and sisters be saying you going to third world countries and getting these weak-minded women, that they feel
yeah,
insulted
they
by
were like,
that.
we look up to y'all. Why are you talking shit about us?
Yeah, and the thing is, majority of these women out here, they don't want to come to the States. They don't.
They
It has
don't.
nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with the women. They just prefer to be home. They rather us be there, come and uplift them in their communities as opposed to coming to the States. Some of them got families out here they don't want to be away from. Some of them have responsibilities. Some of them have children here that they don't want to be. They don't want to take halfway across the world because they see how they feel like okay, we look up to them, but for what it looks like on social media, they hate us. So I'm afraid to go move there. That's the pretty much overall vibe I get. But when we're over here, they damn near deify us. Seriously,
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah. Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of traveling. We're rock stars. Black men in particular, let me tell you something. If you haven't been out of the country, right? If you haven't been to Spain, I've been to Spain, Germany, Switzerland, I've been to France, I've been to Paris and Annecy, j'ai pas foncé pour ces arts-ci, on le cause, j'ai voyagé en France. Like,
oh
man,
bonjour,
I'm
je
telling
m'appelle Jean. Comment allez-vous aujourd'hui?
you, yeah, moi, je suis comme ça. Yeah.
Ah.
So like for me, like I'm traveled. And so I know when I go to England, I've been to England. I know when I go to Spain, Madrid, and Barcelona, I know that they love us. They actually do love us, right?
True,
And
true.
so yeah, the problem like even I've been to India. Like let me tell you something. Indians love us.
Oh yeah,
Indians love
they
us.
swear up and down they're trying to be black so hard over there. It's
Oh my God,
hilarious.
man. They love us.
I
They
got
love
friends
us,
all over
man.
this planet.
So
I got friends all over this planet. So
and so my thing is this. My thing is this. We have the women who have the most desirable physical traits in the entire world,
yep. Mm-hmm.
right? Everybody is trying to tan their skin. Everybody's trying to perm their hair. Everybody wants to do the box braids because the sister's doing the box braids. Everybody getting the BBL because the sister's got the big booties. Everybody's getting their boobies done. Everybody's doing. They want the long nails. They want anything the black woman does. That's what they want. So we have the most desired woman on the planet. However, the mindset is anti-man. So if you're a guy and you want a wife and you don't want to start a wife with somebody that is anti-man, then what are you to do? What is the best thing for you for you to do?
No, I agree with that except for one bit area. They're not
Go
tanning
ahead.
their skins out here. They're not tanning their skins out here in Thailand. For most part, almost all the skin creamers and skin conditioners, all that stuff they have here is mostly skin brightening products.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Yeah.
so
I have seen the
so
creams and stuff like that. It's the white folks. What white people try to tan, and people who are in countries, especially countries that have been colonized, they have some type of shame around having a dark skin. You see in Africa
it's
a
just a
lot of
sense of
folks.
colorism. It's a
Yeah.
sense of colorism out here a little bit.
Yeah.
However, like my girlfriend, she's Thai. She wants the gel for the baby hair gel for the edges. She loves that. She absolutely loves that.
I'm telling you,
So
man, black women, bro. Whatever a black
yeah,
woman
that you
does,
got black
everybody
women
else
are the
in the world
standard of
wants to
beauty.
do it. Yeah.
Black women are the standard of beauty worldwide. So yeah, so that is definitely the case. Now, when I try to go on this brother's platform earlier, and I was telling my story, how I went from homeless to world traveler. As soon as I said yeah, and my it wasn't like I searched to blah blah blah. I said, oh, I got a Thai girlfriend. Then all of a sudden, it became a personal attack on me. Oh, you ain't
Right.
with the sister, blah blah blah. I'm like, well,
Right.
I'm 43. And this is the very first non-black woman I've been in any relationship with. I've dated several times. I've been married, all these things. But It seemed to be a bit of an issue, and yeah, a conversation that always turns left with him. I think he's not interested in reconciliation. He's interested in misinformation and divisiveness because that keeps his channel, keeps his channel going. So I think that's pretty much what it is, and that's when I just unfollow the brother. Especially
Yeah,
if he
that's
just
what
kicked you
they they
for no
pandering.
reason.
I think they pandering
What's
to
up,
those type of
Weezy?
women.
Yeah, yeah. Like the thing is that like men who don't have that dominant, spirit, or and what you'll find is I find these guys have one of three backgrounds. One, they grew up under the emasculated man, so their mother was in a leadership position in their household. So they had a dad, but their dad, they watched them get punked all the time by their mom. That's one. Two, they were raised by the single mother, right? So they're raised by the single mother. And then three is they were raised without either. They're either from foster care, they were raised by their grandmother, and the mother was a orbiter of the child rearing, but not primarily responsible. When you see guys or gals with these three backgrounds, they have a difficult time understanding the importance of nuclear family. They have a difficult time understanding the importance of those dynamics on the development of the
Yeah,
psychological paradigms that are necessary to be able to go out into the world and
yeah.
participate and
I
perform.
want to ask a question.
Hmm?
I want
Yeah,
to
go
ask a
ahead.
question. They always keep saying we need therapy, right?
Yeah.
But they never say these women who say that kind of stuff. Do they black women need therapy too?
Well, they
Yeah.
pretty much saying therapy
Yeah.
because they try to use it as they use the word therapy as a bit of an attack, even though it's supposed to be something that's supposed to be beneficial for everyone. They kind of use it as a low
Yeah,
key form
Captain
of
said it.
attack.
Captain I know Captain used to say it every time when they get off the show.
Every live show, 5 times a show, that brother was like,
So
man,
I think they're
you need
using
some
that because of
therapy.
him.
Now unmute so you can speak,
Yeah,
baby.
therapy has been weaponized. Yeah, yeah. Unmute
I,
yourself.
I'm just listening to you guys because I seen you on the other live real quick, and I'm like, where did he go?
Yeah,
So
no,
then I
he
see
booted me.
because
He booted me because
I was gonna actually go in. What hurts me? It's like we limit the black woman to America. Like there's so like black
that's
women
my point.
everywhere around the world. Like
There's
if
10 times
man,
as many black women outside of America. Ten
like
times
Yes,
more.
are
it's
you
10 times.
kidding me?
That's the point I make. It's like,
No, like
listen,
come on. Like
but
my mom is from East Africa, Djibouti, right? So when they speak on black woman this, black woman that, I'm just like, okay, well, what am I? You know what I'm saying? So like if
right.
black man in America, things are not working out for him, he can still find a black woman somewhere else. That doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily mean
That's
that
my
yeah.
he
point.
has to
Is
be
look,
American.
look, if we can't
So
find
true,
it
true,
here,
I'm
true.
yeah,
confused, right? Because if your concept is to keep, the blackness, I mean,
the
black
whole
beauty is
spirit.
everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I understand because like we understand that there's more black women than black men. We already know that there's going to be a certain percentages of black women that will be unmarried and won't be partnered, right? Because there are more black women than black men. But when you look at the stats, 40% of a black man, right, by the age of 45 are unpartnered and childless. But then black women are actually having kids. So somewhere down the line, why like life is short. If the percentage of the black men are increasing and they're childless, I mean their only option at a certain age is to date a woman that has a child, right? I mean that's his preference. If he's not really trying to deal with that and all that, and his point is, pro black or whatever it is, because I know black African American, you guys are more pro black than ever, because the word black is not really used in any other languages in the world, right? We don't call each other black. But anyways, that's aside. But if he wants to, stay, in his pro blackness, and it doesn't really work out in America, I mean, Africa's full. Like, you know what I'm saying? He can find a woman in Somalia, in Djibouti, in Ethiopia, in Eritrea.
Yeah,
These are beautiful black women. And I mean, the culture is
That's
going to
my
be mixed,
point.
yes,
But
but
hmm
Nas, you know what it is? They want you to marry an American black woman so that you can, because the way that the story is being told on the other side, it's
right.
like we all went through this trauma together as
Oh,
black people because we're the descendant of slaves. And so we need to be the ones to get together between each other. But while they're saying that, meanwhile, the women are divesting. They're aborting male black babies inside of the womb. They all black men ain't shit and all of this nonsense. So like, and when you hear black men talk, like, and here's something I was thinking about this today when I was taking the trash out. I was like, they are hearing us say statistics and data back that are true about the community as bashing, and so they're just insulting us back. And so they're not saying, hey, these are real issues that we see are common
mm,
amongst black men. We can prove it. Here is something we have that is a problem with black men. We can prove it. Guys, you need to know about this so you guys can talk to each other about this and do better.
right.
Instead, they have a single fucked up thing that they
Mm.
hate, which are the pookies that they love. And then they lay those motherfuckers at the feet of all black men. All of us can
Yeah,
prove it.
yeah.
Right?
All of
It's
And
us.
this
one of the
this.
You
Sad.
know?
Go ahead, go ahead, brother.
yeah, and one of the guys act like it's no problem with what they do.
I think
Right. Yes.
I think he's really like I understand. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody understands, where the anger is coming from the black woman. We all get it, right? But there's one thing, right?
Hmm.
Like, there's two types, right? There's the
What's
one
up,
that
Zaria?
he's in Ray Rays, and then you have the other one that are part of the 1% that are making the six figure, right? Normally, a woman doesn't date down, right? She either try to find a man that makes as much, like, equal to her or higher, right? So if they're saying that women are more educated and are having these high jobs and they're making money, now they're not going to go for the 40% or the 45% of men that make 9 to 5 jobs, regular guys, respectful, that would be down, that would they're not they will be able to take care of them. It's just that not the way that they would want, because now their standards is higher, right? So you have these
Yeah,
women
they're
that are
addicted to
looking for the
lifestyle.
dream, and then
But
that
that's
probably never
female
have.
nature
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
want
that's
to.
genuine female nature. That's the nature of women. All women want to find
I disagree
someone
with
that's going to
that.
take care of them, regardless of their income. And that
I
was why
disagree with
the
that.
design was to make the black women independent. But yeah, the bad boy thing, yeah, it's just the typical women going after the bad boys
That's
and then
all women.
overlooking the good guys, and
All,
then
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
but
I don't think it's
that's a
fair to
all
say
worldwide
women
it's
like
thing.
the
just
bad
female
boy.
nature. I
I
don't
don't
think
Well,
that
fault
is a
not
women.
worldwide thing.
I don't fault our women for liking bad
well, you're
boys.
not
I
worldwide,
fault
but
them for
Western worldwide,
reproducing with
Western
each
worldwide.
Right, right.
There you go. I
No, but
agree with
I,
that.
I
It's
fault
definitely a
women.
Hmm.
Western thing.
I do fault women for going for bad boys at a certain age. I mean, come on.
other.
You're
Yeah,
not gonna
at a
go for
certain
bad
age.
boys when you reach, like, your mid 20s, when you're trying to, because they don't like. I had a child 3 years ago. My husband and I are
They
married.
banned you, Bert.
My
They
husband and
banned
I
Bert.
are married 5 years now, and I had my child 3 years ago. I'm telling you, being pregnant and having a child is no joke. There's no way, right? What's mind blowing is that I don't know how I would do it without my husband, emotionally, physically, everything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
me to lay down with a man, knowing that there's a potential of me getting pregnant, and knowing he won't be able to take care of me, because at 9 months, even if I'm career, I finished school, I studied, I work in IT, computers all day. So, like, I know that 9 months, I need a man. I need a man to be able to, emotionally take care of me. The stress is out. So to know that, like, at a certain age, you're risking your life and your future for a guy that won't do anything for you is mind blowing to me. You know what I'm saying?
And
I just feel like, women need to, like, even if you are career driven and you make that amount of money, like, you can't blame that 40% of men that you don't want, that you
Right.
don't want.
Yeah. Like
Exactly.
that's
You know
what
what
I'm
I mean?
saying.
Right.
It's
They're
like
like,
Exactly.
I,
yeah,
You make
and
a
I,
valid point.
here's the very simple reality. Okay. If I had all three of my children inside of wedlock, okay, and Bert, let me tell you something. Bert is hilarious. Bert said
Yeah,
that
that's just
he
funny.
told the therapists or feminists that came in, and they banned him for it.
Hmm. But
Bert is
one more
the
thing before I
best
drop
thing,
off.
man. Like my
I'm about
man
to drop off and let
commented,
someone
man, he
else
said,
come up.
I just live in a world where I live in a world of lies and I tell the truth. You know, so
Yeah. Oh,
so here's the thing, and this was the point I made to the brother before he shut me down and kicked me off his live. And I'm glad he kicked me off instead of somebody reporting me. Kick me off. Don't fuck with my page, you know.
No, that's
But
right.
my thing
yeah.
is how can you want so basically what you're saying is you want us to take irresponsible men and make them responsible for you since you decided to have a child for an irresponsible man. And then, and then, and then you still want to be able to reward that man with children and sex while we're trying to hold him accountable. Okay, so I don't think you get how
Black,
discipline works. Like, I don't think
Black
you get
Jesus
how
always kills
accountability
it.
works. If you,
He just destroys it every
if you
time.
think you can motivate the behavior of a grown man while you still are giving him children and sex, and some other man who has nothing to do with him or you is supposed to make him responsible for you. It is an insane thing that women say that in our community they're so comfortable saying it. But if you really think about it just for a moment, it makes no sense. It is completely irrational. You know?
Yeah, and
I
it
don't
was done
know
by
what
design. And it was all done by design. Once again, the
And
Willie Lynch letters states this. But before I step off, I'm gonna go and drop off so let somebody else come up. But I just want to say, speaking of traveling the world, Ghana has said as an official apology for the port of no return, the port that brought slaves from Africa to America, they're offering any and every African American that wants to come and relocate to Ghana land and dual citizenship. So, the land's not going to be free, but they'll offer you. So that's another option. Now, if we could just convince enough of our brothers and sisters to escape the matrix. I understand America is great. America is great, but however,
it is. There's a
the
lot of
rest of
great shit here. There's so much prosperity here, like the potential to be able to create abundance for yourself.
Right.
but who
Is one of the
created that
things that I
abundance?
love about America.
But who created that? Whose back was all that greatness built off
Men.
Oh,
of?
definitely.
Men.
If we take our talents to a different nation, America will lose the NBA. They'll lose the NFL. They'll lose all of that. There wouldn't be anything. Now, this is a 100% disabled veteran saying this now. I'm a true patriot.
Yeah.
I love America. But I decided that the culture in America was too toxic for me, as well as, since I'm disabled, I get a certain amount each month, and that amount was not enough for me to sustain myself in America. It was either choosing between paying my rent and paying for my medicine, food, utilities, and all those other things. So because of that, I had became homeless a couple of times. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to sleep. I'll go ahead and suck up this homelessness for a month or two and then take my money and fly to another country. And that's exactly what I did. Now I am here in Thailand where $1 is 34 of their currency. I have an amazing life. I got a beautiful condo. My rent, utilities, Wi-Fi, cell phone service, and motorbike rental combined, $550 a month. Ladies, y'all could come here
Good
and get an hour long. That's right. Y'all could come here and get you a pedicure, manicure, hour-long foot massage, and a wax job, and it'll be less than $30. Less than $30 for all of the above.
What? No,
Yep.
possible.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yep. I've been here since July, people. I've been here since July. Here, let me turn my camera on and let you see a little bit. It's nighttime out here, so you can't really see my pool, but I'll try my best to show it to you guys. Hang on a second. All right, there we go. Let's see. I don't think y'all can really see it. That right there is the whirlpool area. That's like a little whirlpool. This is a gigantic pool. It goes all around. There's 7 buildings in this resort, and it goes all around all 7 buildings. This is the cabana area, and then it's a power ship slide. And next time I go live, definitely take a look. I usually go live it's usually late nights because it's early morning for me here. Like it's 11:16 p.m. over here. I'm exactly 12 hours ahead of East Coast time. You'll see. I go through the pool.
How long have you been there? How long have
I've been here since July 14th. I've been here since July.
Nice. Good for you.
And I have one thing I have. There's racism here. No racism. And the one thing I have here that I have not found in America, peace of mind. And yes, there is a black community here in Thailand. I met a brother, sister from the States that just moved here a couple of weeks ago, and they just got here about a month here. When I first got here, I didn't have a place to stay, of course, so I stayed at a hotel. When I first got to Bangkok, I spent 2 weeks in a hotel. I'd say I thought I had to go 5-star, $700 for 2 weeks for 5-star. And then after that, I came to Pattaya and got a hotel that gave me rent. That gave me Wi-Fi, housekeeping, room service, and free breakfast every morning for 32 days, and it cost me $535 for the entire month. Y'all could be able to live an amazing life, and they absolutely worship us out here. And there's a huge, huge black community here that consists of ex-military or just brothers who got some type of income coming in each month, and they moved here. Matter of fact, there's
he froze again.
I think it's because he's in the balcony or something. I think maybe.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you
yeah,
something.
I'm on my balcony. Sorry for.
Whenever I have guys that I talk to who have expatriated, who have actually acted on it, I get the exact same story over and over and over again. I've got two buddies right now. One of them's building $1 million home in Africa right now. He's like, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm sick of arguing. Like, and he's not even talking about arguing with women. He's talking about going the rancor and nonsense in our country. He's talking about the culture of the whole country. You know, he's not even done with it. This man loves black women, only dates black women. And when I say he dates black women, I'm talking about black women.
Nice.
Like, I mean, my man, he's somebody I follow and this, that, and the other. And, you know, him and I have been friends for about a decade. And when I tell you he don't, if it snowed, and he ain't going. Like, and so this brother he's moving back to Africa. It's the mindset that men are sick of, ladies. It's not your blackness. It's the mindset. It's this thing that you believe that you think is inextricably tied together. You being combative and disagreeable and all of this shit. You acting like that has something to do with your DNA or your makeup because back in Africa, blah, 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 blah. When I meet African girls, they ain't like that. So you tell me how you ain't been in your ancestor lineage ain't been in Africa in 200, 300, 400 years, and you blaming that for some shit that when you meet African girls, they soft and sweet and feminine in the motherfucker. And you sitting up acting like
in Panama,
the woman came from the Hadi tribe herself. Fuck out of here.
Oh God! And now somebody mentioned about Panama being welcoming to black people as well. That's true. Panama is an actual black nation. Panama is a black nation. It is definitely a great place. Actually, that was one of the places I was going to go to. That's actually where I was going to go. I was planning to just go to stop in Costa Rica for a while, and then go to Panama and set up shop there. And then I found out they legalized weed in Thailand, and
It was like, it's a wrap.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap. 100% legal. I walked down the street smoking a blunt, walked by the cops, and they just waved at me and gave me a thumbs up. There is no police harassment. There's no racism. None of that. But there are weird laws out here. Like, for example, you cannot be going around commando unless you're at the beach getting in the water, or if you're at the pool. That's the only two times you're permitted to not be walking around with underwear on. If you don't have underwear on and something happens and they see it or someone reports it, there is no warning or nothing like that. They'll throw you in jail and then boot you out the country. Yeah, so they're strict with these laws.
Decency, they ain't playing that game.
And safety is the least of your concerns too. You don't have to worry about safety at all. And I'm sorry, sister, I'm gonna let you speak. Just give me a brief moment. I'll just get this out. Safety has never been an issue. Why? Because nobody wants to go to a Thai prison. And I'm gonna explain what a Thai prison is. Imagine a basketball court-sized jail cell. 2 toilets, 2 showers, and their showers don't have stalls in it. There's no curtain. There's none of that. It's just right there by the toilet. Literally, you can reach up, stand up from the toilet and grab the shower nozzle. I mean, and no beds, and you're in there with 70 men. Damn. No beds. Pick a spot. And you're in there for 3 or 4 months.
For that type of bullshit.
Yeah, and so you got to actually go looking for crime. But other than that, they call this the land of smiles for a reason. Buddha got that permanent smile that we know about, the fat Buddha smiling. That is after he wasn't fat, and he wasn't smiling when he got to Thailand. So he got fat and started smiling when he got here. And that's why they call it the land of smiles, because he got everything he wanted. You could get anything you want in abundance out here. This place is like an onion. If you're looking for spiritual cleansing, you can find that in abundance here. There's Buddha temples and things like that. If you're looking for fun, the family fun, you can find that in abundance out here. If you're looking for the nightlife, of course, you can find that in abundance out here. Same laws as Vegas. You can find everything you're seeking. But remember, everything you're seeking is going to be at least 10 times or 30 times less than what it would cost you in the States. So I didn't come here for the sexual tourism, although I'm in a city that's primarily known for it, but I'm also in the beach. That's what I came for, because I'm a beach guy. I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That's my hometown. So being out here has been therapeutic. I went from struggling with depression, and 10 years removed from my most previous attempt at self-deleting, and now I have pure bliss every day. And that is what you cannot find in America. Come out here, bucket list thing, spend at least 1 month out here. I guarantee you it will be life-changing, and you'll probably not want to go back. Because I ain't. Fuck
No,
that. I'm here.
probably not. I love the way he promotes it. You are like, they should pay you for promoting it. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, right?
Yeah.
My lives, I get 100,000 plus likes on my live streams. 100,000 plus likes on my live streams, and all I'm doing is walking around my pool. And then I go. I'm less than half a kilometer away from the beach. So I'll go and I ride my motorbike up to the beach and then enjoy a sunset, and just let everybody watch it, and they're amazed. And then I answer all the questions. Hey, do you need to get the vaccine? No, you don't need the vaccine. It's pre-pandemic levels now. You don't need a vaccine. You don't need any of that to come here. Or they're asking all these different questions, and I say, you know what? It's easy. It's impossible to fail. You can find whatever you want, anything. This one says that I came here trying to find 6 midgets to run a train on me. She didn't get that. She found 4, but. And it's crazy. You can find anything you want out here.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
no,
Not
no.
the
It's
midget
so
train.
nice. What I was gonna say is like, it's so
Yeah,
Go
nice.
it's a
ahead,
little choo
Nas.
choo.
It's
Go ahead,
here.
Nas.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. What you say?
No worries, no worries. It's so nice to hear him, like, the relief and the happiness. Like, you can sense it from his voice, and it's like, and hear that, where he was and where he's now, and knowing that this life is temporary. Like, a lot of times when people talk, we talk like this life is forever. This life is not guaranteed. We don't know when our time is. So, like, why live, in sadness? Do the best you can in your life. Like, this is your chance, right? Don't waste time for nonsense. Don't waste time to listening to everybody else but yourself, right? If you think that this is the best decision for you as a man or a woman, right? Do it. Do it. Keep God close. Pray, do your best, make yourself happy, because when you leave this world, you're in your little casket, right? You leave by yourself. No kids, no house, no car, nothing. The only thing you leave behind is your legacy, the memories, right, that you left of your presence, because people will remember you, talk about you, right? And make sure that when you're gone, they talk about you in a good sense, like in a good way,
Yep.
right? Make sure that your kids talk about you, and they love you and they pray for you. That's what life is. And settling down with the right.
Now,
Now, if your right
you are
person
so
is not
right.
in America, leave. This is your life. We can't I feel like a lot of times we're trying to tell people what to do, how to feel, judge them and all that. We can't judge anybody. We only God can judge
Mhm.
us. Let's just support each other. If that makes you happy, we should support it.
Yes.
If black men are saying, "Hey, America's not for me," black women been saying, "I don't need you, but I'll want you. I'll use you. I'll do this. Oh no, you don't make enough for me." Or, you know what? I don't have no standards, so I'm gonna lay with you. Boom, I'm a papa. Like, everything is all over the place now. A man that respects himself, that
They're
works
gonna say you need therapy after that.
right, like that works
Yeah.
9 to 5. He's okay, or he drives his truck. He goes home. He's by himself. He's lonely. What do you want him to do? Wait for the black woman that will just appear one day at his door? You know what I'm? No, it'll never happen. So
Yeah, and what they
You
say,
know
what
what?
they
can't be
do instead with that, what they do instead with that is they just gaslight you and tell you you're not good enough. They say, well, the reason you can't find a woman is because you need to get your money up. Well, hold on. Only 10% of men are earning over $10,000 a month. Okay, so that means that
10,000?
yeah, only 10% of men are earning over $10,000 a month. 10% of black men. It's like 12% of Asian men. Asian men are kicking everybody's ass in America, bro. Like the Asian family dynamic,
they stick
their
together.
medium income, their household wealth, like on every single metric, their marital rates, the length of time they stay married, every single metric, their performance at higher level education. Do you know there is reverse racism against Asians right now? That if you try to like, if you're Asian, they will deny you entrance to certain universities. You have to
Yeah.
apply in a period of time because there's only so many Asians they're willing to accept. Because if they didn't do that, then all the universities, all of their high level like degrees will all be Asian because they
Yeah.
are dominating here in America and nobody's really talking about that. So Asians out earn the average median income for a white man is like 58,000 or 56,000 in America. For an Asian man, it's like 65,000. Right? So that I'm just whoa. They're reporting a whole bunch of people right now. That's a white supremacist talking point.
Oh my goodness.
They came in and they're reporting people. Wow. That's what they do with my lives. They just come
Yeah,
like there's
that's
certain
why there's no free
ideas and
speech right here. No
yeah.
free speech.
Well, it's if you go against the narrative, the sisterhood, or any of that, then they will take you out. Learning tarot. If you want to come up, babe, request because I would love to have you up. They just gave me
Okay, I'm
access
gonna drop out.
to this account. J Love
What's
be
up?
out here
What's
spitting
up?
facts. What's up, mama?
Nothing. I just okay. First, I saw you on the other live. I said, let me see what Black Jesus going over here on his live talking about. Because I was
Yeah.
watching you over there on the other page, and I was just like, what in the world? Listen, I'm like, nah. If y'all want to leave and go find y'all happiness somewhere else with somebody else, go do that.
They just reported the other guy and got him out of here.
Wow. I just
Yeah.
think that you should do it. I think everybody needs to find happiness where they can find their own happiness. As a Black woman, do I feel for my sisters? I do, but do I think it's a self-caused problem? I do. Because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear us tell them, listen, y'all losing. Y'all are losing. So I'm with Nas. Brothers, if y'all happy, go find it. Just be happy. Because life is
Yeah.
too short to be sitting around here fussing, cussing, and carrying on with somebody who doesn't want to hear and be better for you. If you
Yeah.
as a person, if you're not bringing betterment to your partner, what are you doing? What are you doing? As a woman, I would feel less than a wife if I couldn't bring peace and happiness or add to my husband's happiness or bring him peace and joy throughout his day. I do not want my husband to ever walk through that door and not want to be here. But see, we as Black women will hear, oh, well, he don't want to be at home. Well, that's all his fault. No, sugar. No. No,
And you
sugar.
know, like it could be his fault, but it might. You have to. Like I remember when I was married, one of the things that I would say to my wife was, I was like, do you when we have these conversations, I was like, do you entertain the possibility that you might be wrong? Is
Right.
that are you even willing to entertain the idea that you might be wrong about what you're saying?
This is the thing. Black women, if y'all are on here, everybody under the sound of my voice, I want y'all to understand something. We were taught bad behaviors. We were taught bad behaviors. We Black women, me, I am a Black woman. We were taught bad behaviors. We need to cut them out. We need to figure out because we as Black American women are losing. Not all of us. So if this does not apply to you, please let it fly. People really want to always say, well, it ain't all of us and it ain't me. If it ain't you and it ain't, let it fly, let it go on over your head. But at the end of the day, as Black women, we are taught bad behaviors. And then when we my Nigerian mother taught me properly. I said Black American women. I didn't say anything about Nigeria. I'm talking to Black American women. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Black Jesus, but it's the Black American women that are suffering, correct?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what I'm understanding? We're not
yeah,
talking
we're,
about Black women that come from other countries, right? We are talking about Black American women. Yes?
yeah. Then all of the negative information data that is being collected, all the data that is being collected about our community shows us that our sisters are in trouble. And there are positive things going on, right? Like we our women are seeking education. I love our women for doing that and being that and improving themselves, right?
Hold on one
Um,
second, Black Beauty. Hold
go
on
ahead.
one second. I got to get this. Somebody
Yeah,
said
yeah,
she's
go ahead.
talking about women she relates to. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. So it's not that I relate to these women because I personally have been married for 28 years to the same man, no outside children, 2 daughters with. So that really don't apply to me. I'm talking about Black women as a whole because I know Black women. I'm not
Right.
talking about women that I know that are married and things like that. So relating to, maybe I'm misreading that, but I am
No,
talking
you
to
you gotta
Black.
you gotta understand that there are like in our community and people in general, like they want to get you off your primary message, and they are
Okay,
gonna. So you just gotta pass over
yeah,
them.
yeah, you're
And some
right.
people are just
Yandy Doodle,
argumentative.
thank you for explaining that. So, my thing is being married doesn't mean that I was taught well. That is true, but being married means that I did the work. See, we as Black women, Black American women. Not talking about any other race. And again, if this ain't you, let it fly. Okay? Black women are not taught how to love Black men, and Black men aren't taught how to love Black women. So it is a conscious effort that we have to make every day to get up and do this job. And it is a conscious effort to say, you know what, there are some areas that I am just wrong in, and I need to fix that about me. Right? But
Right.
we as Black women do not get taught that we can be wrong. Everything about us ain't always right. We're not always nurturing. We don't always have the answer. We are not always correct in what we say and do. And as a wife, I had to learn that. I had to learn that fact that just because my husband doesn't speak on something doesn't mean he's not hurting. So for me to say that he doesn't have feelings and he doesn't have emotions, I'm confused. But then when you say this out loud, Black women want to go, oh, you're a pick me. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, but you're single and you're losing. And then when Black
Yep.
men say we're leaving the country, we're going to date outside our race, then it's he ain't this and he ain't that and he's a dog and he's a blah, 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 blah. Make this make sense. At the
Yep.
end of the day, we sit around. We sit around and we don't want to hear married women who get married and tell you. See, people get on here because I talk so highly about being married. I love Black love. I love marriage. Right? Be married, be happy, all that good stuff. That's what I want for the people. But when I tell you that, people think that or assume that, oh, you just think you got a perfect marriage. No, I don't. I've done the
It's
work.
work.
I've done the
It's
work.
work. I never worked so hard in
I
my
do
life
the
on nothing,
work.
and the shit
It's
blew up.
it's one thing, to get married, and it's another thing to stay married. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So like J
yeah.
Love's right.
I I wake up every day and put my feet on the ground. I say my good morning prayer to the Lord. Thank you for waking me up. But Jesus, what is the day going to do? Marriage is work. Some days you wake up and you don't even like yourself. How
Yeah.
you gonna get up? You tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm not the only one that wakes up in the morning and go, dang, I got up this morning. It is 32 degrees here in North Carolina. I got up to go walking this morning. I and was hating life. Man, I don't want to do this. Jesus Christ, why can't I just blah 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 blah?
Can't I
But
just hit the lotto and stay in bed?
right, why can't I just,
Right.
hit the lotto and stay in
Would
bed? Let me
love it,
go get this stuff sucked
especially
out,
what this
this
Michigan
tummy
Mega
tuck
Millions
and this.
looking like.
Like, let me go get all of this done. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to get out here and work out and get on exercise equipment and bikes and like who wants to have to do this, right? But at the end of the day, I have a husband that he may wake up not feeling so top form. You know what I'm saying? He may wake up and be like, man, I don't want to do this today. I don't feel like it. But so it's an everyday thing that we do. But if you can't see that, because ladies, let me just say this: Black women have natural attitudes. Our tongues are like lethal weapons. Okay, if you can't understand that the way you speak can emasculate a man, demean him, and belittle him just by a certain amount of words, I don't know what to tell you. I
What
don't
they
know what
what
to
they tell you?
tell you.
I'm gonna tell you what the response is if you're a guy. Is they tell you that if you don't want to put up with that shit, you're not a real man. You weak, and you want a woman you can walk on. And so what you
But
hear
as soon,
often,
but look, Black Jesus. But as soon as he called her out her name, then he everything under the sun.
right? Yeah,
Make
yeah.
that make
So that's
sense?
why I just
It
like
makes
what
sense.
I've learned, and I was actually talking to my son yesterday. I picked him up from wrestling practice, and he's like, "Dad, I really want to get some Chinese food." I was like, "Man, I got food defrosted already." He's like, "Man, like if I would really love some Chinese food." I was like, "All right." So we went and we picked up Chinese food, and he was talking about one of his buddies who's got a girlfriend, and this girl is just kicking his ass. Like she's just yanking his boy this way and that way, and he doesn't know what he's doing. And I was like, so what do you think you're seeing happen, son? He's like, Dad, what I'm seeing happen is the guy doesn't have the girl doesn't respect him at all. He'll do anything to keep her because she lets him have sex with her. And she is completely messed up. She's got no dad. I've seen her mom. Her mom is nuts. Like she's gonna eat this guy alive. And I was like, yeah. And then he said to me, he's like, Dad, he's like, I know I'm never gonna deal with any of this because I know better now. And I was like, yes. Like when young men get the right information, they figure out I don't need to put up with any of this bad behavior. None of it. And the moment that you see it, it's not up to you to solve it. It's not up to you to fix it. It's not up to you to be a trauma coach. It's not up to you to do any of that shit. Healthy people protect their peace, right? Do the work on yourself so that you can get square, right? And that's why I do advocate for men to go to therapy. Do the work on yourself so you can get square. And then when you're
This is
square,
my
find a woman with the same values who has done the work as well. Do not get into these
this is my question.
situations where women think they should be able to abuse you, fucking cut you off, curse you out, name call you, put their hands on you. You're like, do not deal with these women. Disqualify them like that. You don't have
Hey,
to
Black
get
Jesus,
somebody
hold
just
on,
because
hold
they
on,
got a
Hold on,
nice
This
Black
is my
Jesus.
asshole.
I
question.
want to
I
say this
got
one
one
thing.
question, and
I
I
want to say
want
this
y'all
one
to
thing. Hold
answer
on.
this.
I want to say this one thing. That's the reason why they hate that men are talking to other men, especially the youth, because we are preparing them for the bullshit that we already seen and the bullshit we already went through. So this is why they're trying to shame every single thing that we're doing. Oh, you don't want to deal with a woman's attitude. You're a weak man. Oh, you don't want women with natural bodies because natural bodies mean you want a prepubescent boy. All this stuff they hate because it's not what me or you doing. Me and you, we pretty much out of the picture. We're filtering it down to the youth, and the
Yep.
youth is getting this, and they like no 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 no. We can lose the older men, but the youth, we got to keep them in this box because if they task us to a standard, we are in hell.
Yep. We're gonna be by ourselves. Because this whole divest argument from the woman side, it's some bullshit. It's and I'll tell you why it's some bullshit because like our women are not like okay. So if you think the black man is too patriarchal, tell me the group of men. Give me the culture of men that are less patriarchal than black men. Go. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. It ain't white men
You
because
can't.
Becky is at the
But look,
gym.
Black Jesus.
It
Let me
ain't
let me
white
say
men
this,
because
Black
Becky
Jesus.
is at the
Look,
gym.
Black Jesus.
That
Becky
is
knows
true.
that
What's
Chad is not checking for her
what?
if she is not high and tight. So you tell me
Right.
Asian men, they ain't bringing you home to Mama San. They
No,
not
they
bringing
ain't.
you home to Mama San with that attitude. And they Arab men, they not bringing you home to BB with that
But look,
attitude.
Black Jesus.
It's true.
I live in Michigan and I see it all the
But check
time.
this out. But
These
check this
these
out.
You
This
do.
is the
where
other thing right here, though. Black women don't even want to deal with each other. We don't even want to deal with each other.
a
So
consistent
can you
space of
imagine?
conversation.
You will sit up and say, I don't want to deal with her because she got such a bad attitude. Well, what man wants to go home to that, right? But this is my other question. If the black women keep saying that they don't have a problem, right? They ain't got no issues, ain't nothing wrong with them, blah, blah, blah. Why y'all so angry? Why y'all mad?
Yeah, just
I
let them go. Just let them go.
Because let me tell you something. A woman who's comfortable in who she is, she don't care nothing about y'all taking y'all passports going nowhere. So again, my question is this. Ladies, if y'all don't care and it don't bother y'all, why y'all so mad? Why is this even an
They're gonna
issue if
tell
y'all
you
so
that
good? Like,
they're
I'm
passionate.
confused.
I ask that all the
They're
time.
passionate. They're what,
Why?
Tarot? She
It,
said they're passionate.
That's what they're
but
gonna
oh
say.
yeah,
They're
Why
gonna
that
y'all
say,
mad?
I'm not
I
mad,
mean,
I'm
I'm
that
not
just saying.
aggressive, I'm passionate.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
some bullshit. Let me tell you something.
Oh,
That's
okay.
some bullshit. You like it. I
Okay.
don't. I get tired. I get tired of the hit and hide the hand. I don't like that you like. Oh, you sassy, or oh, you gay, or oh, you this. You just you weak, or you say something and try to attack
STD,
somebody, and then you act like when they say something back to you, you act like you don't know what the fuck they talking about. Like, why are you being like this with me? See, you're
Right.
triggered, and I'm like, no, you just called me
And
everything
then
but
you
a
ask,
child of God. You
why are you
know it, and
resorting
now
to
you mad because
insult?
I said something to you. What you say, Terrell?
And then they will ask you, why are you resorting to insults? Black men are always insulting us and whatever. And it's like, bruv, you started the insult journey. What is this? You opened this conversation with insults. What are
Yeah.
you? And now, when
And
a
and
person is
Tarot,
returning
me,
the
me,
energy,
Nas, we pick means. Me, Nas, and Tarot, we pick means.
oh yeah,
Cause
You
y'all
know what
got
I'm saying?
husbands.
Because
Yeah.
but we
we
got
sitting here
picked
trying to have a
already.
real conversation with the women, but we pick means.
oh
Okay,
yeah.
well, guess what? We are, because Nas is married, Tarot is married, and so am I. So I guess I
Mm-hmm.
am a pick me. I mean, I'm just
I
saying.
just try to
Like
figure out
A lot of
here's
times,
if
the
a
y'all
lot of
can't
times
hold them
they say,
accountable, who can hold
but a
black
lot,
women accountable?
nobody. There you
right.
go,
Nobody.
Boo.
Bingo!
Nobody.
Ding!
Who?
But
Nobody.
a lot of times they say, oh, it's because we're married already. But then, like, that's why we don't care. Like, if we were single, we would care. But then I'm just thinking, I'm just like, the thing is, with the mindset, the rejection you guys express, the hatred, like, the the you don't feel no peacefulness inside of them when they're out there vetting a man. It's so aggressive. It's so, you know what I'm saying? It's not welcoming. That energy, if I were to be single, I wouldn't have a problem. And if it wasn't in Canada, I'd probably be going back home to my country, to my motherland. But me, the only thing that I'm a little bit irritated is the fact that, you know, the black woman doesn't stop.
Hey, Kadai.
There's a lot of
Go ahead.
black women everywhere around the world. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If they're looking for black women, you know,
Mm-hmm.
African American women should not stop and say, "Oh, but what about, like, I thought you were supposed to be pro-black." I get the fact that, Black Jesus told me, like, something that I didn't think about, the fact that, you guys share the same struggles, but if the black man were to go to Africa and get himself a black woman, it would be the same thing. And if that makes him happy, and we all know life is short, there's nothing wrong with it. I checked the stats the other day, and I was just curious to see, because in my head I'm just like, I'm probably sure the percentages of black women having kids, whether it's out of wedlock or whether it's married or divorced, would be higher than black men. So right there, like 40% of black men are currently childless and unpartnered. The
Mm-hmm.
percentages, I forgot the percentages of women. I think it was like 68% or something like that. By the age of 45, they already have either one or two biological children. So the stats don't add up. So if 40% is a lot, though, of 40, like by the age of 45, that are childless and no children. So what are they gonna do? And those women are those men are having regular, like, when I say regular job, I mean they're making 50K and up. That's okay. But then you see that the group of women, right, that are more, I guess, more educated and that make more money than that 50K are looking for higher, right? And then you have
Oh
the
yeah,
rest that are making under the 30K that are dealing with the Pookies and Ray Rays. So there's something that just don't add up. Things are not
So
aligned.
so check this out. Check this out, Nas. I got a buddy of mine I just met, right? Me and this guy hit it off like peas in a pod, right? Because his daughter, my daughter, they go to the same school. So he's an Arabic dude. And, he's got a beautiful house, beautiful home. Guy's multimillionaire now, earns like 60 different rental properties, and, owns a real estate business, a couple of gas stations, this, that, and the other. But when he met his wife, he was working in a gas station. That's when his wife signed up to be with him. So, ladies, I get what it is that y'all are saying, but here's the thing. If you were a black man and if you were a black man and our culture were like Arabic people, or our culture in terms of our standards for dating and marriage, then we will be fine. We will be fine. But the problem is that if a woman is making 30 grand a year, she wants a man that makes 80. If a woman is making 50 grand a year, she wants a man that makes 100. Like, and you will have sex with low quality, low value men and give children to them while talking about to get marriage. I need somebody to make $100,000 plus a year. And this is the thing you don't understand.
Or,
Is men who make a hundred
or,
thousand plus dollars a year are not marrying somebody else's baby mama.
Facts.
It happens so much less. It's not
Facts.
that it never happens. It's just that it happens so much less than if you were, single and childless and you prioritize that while you were in your 20s. So the problem we have, in my opinion, one of the problems we have is our women's standards for cooperation are so high that they put themselves into an echelon of men who require such an extreme level of cooperation that they're not a match, right? For you to want to cooperate with me, I got to make, $200,000 a year. But if I make $200,000 a year, I don't want cooperation, bitch. I want some foot rubs. I want to come home and see you in an apron, butt naked, and smell roast beef. If I'm
See, but you
like,
know that's by design.
when men are making that type of money, the options that I've had some really great years. Okay, I've had some really great years in terms of income performance. And as I earned more and more and more, you'd be amazed with the type of opportunities. There was a period of time where I was working at a company that had 10,000 employees, and I was single. And they did this thing where they were talking about the most eligible bachelor, and I was rated in the top three most eligible bachelors in the whole company as a divorcee with three kids. Okay. So I'm just telling you, like, a man's experience of life at 40, especially if he has his shit together, is so different from a woman's. And if you don't understand that, won't accept that, can't appreciate that, don't know that, then it puts you at a serious disadvantage when you're looking to try to deal with these men. And the problem we have is when somebody tries to tell you the reality, you talk about how things should be or how unfair they are, instead of just dealing with the reality of how things are and saying, okay, what is the most I can get for myself based off reality?
But
Right.
that go back to
I
what
got
J
I
Love was
got
talking
called an
about.
ageist. I got called an ageist the other day. It picked me in an ageist because I said, you know, the reality of how the dating world works. I said in the way that it works in your 20s, don't give your good years to a man who has nothing going for him, because that's the time that you are going to get the best man off the shelf. In your 20s, men don't require us to have money. They
Right,
don't require a woman to have money or accolades or whatever else. The time that you need to be working on, if you're a woman who wants to get married, the time you need to be working on actively looking for that is in your prime. I mean, it only makes sense. We've been dealt a hand of cards, women and men, separate hands. And your strongest suit as a woman is your youth and your virtue and your beauty. Those are the things. So if you're going around, coloring yourself up like a coloring book, you got all these sorts of things on you. You're not working on yourself physically, which is your beauty. You're not working on yourself in terms of your virtue, right? You have nothing going for you. You're giving away all your cards. The girl said, because she was 35 and single, and she was like, well, I can still get any man. And I'm like, no, you can't though. But, and not, no hate on
They're
you. It's just
confusing,
realistically.
Terrell. The women are completely confused between a man having a sexual desire for them and an interest in a long-term, meaningful
I was
relationship.
just
Look
about
at
to
this
say
young
that.
lady that was in the
I was
chat here.
just about to say
This,
that.
yeah, this young lady in the chat here. Okay, be okay. Like she
Somebody,
looks like a beautiful woman. She says you need to make more than $100,000 a year. No problem. If you want me to be in the top 1% of earners in the country, I need you to be a virgin. Are you a virgin? No? Okay. Well, sex only. You get what you want, I get what I want, and we're good. And that's the thing is that the women are very comfortable voicing their standards, no matter how ridiculous they might be for a man. But the moment that a man says, all right, then, I need you to be a virgin then. And the woman's like, what? You need me to do anything except wash my
Yeah,
ass and
Black
show up?
Jesus. Jesus
And that's when
always
they
like
wrap it
Black
up in
Jesus
that
always ends it with like the
misogyny
well,
and
the
somebody
killer.
said
Like
it's
he's just
a
like,
lot of
okay, if that's the case, then that's that.
somebody said it's a lot of
Fine.
unattractive. Look, somebody
Yeah.
said it's a lot of unattractive married women. The key word in that sentence is married. So
Yup.
That's what I'm
they couldn't
saying.
be that
That's what I'm
unattractive if
saying.
they're married. Like what?
There you go,
That
J-Lo.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And you know what,
Hey,
J-Lab, honestly, if we're being honest, J-Lab and Ness, have you ever been called a pick-me or whatever by a woman who was married, happily married?
No,
nope.
Never, not
no.
once. It's the
no.
same type of woman. It's the same type of woman that be calling us pick-me's or whatever. And
The
they don't
ones
want to
that
hear
ain't
what we're
get
saying.
picked.
Look, and
Right,
then they think they're winning by calling you that, but this is the thing. We are already picked. So technically we are pick me's because we're
right.
already picked.
And
You know,
I'm just trying to help you.
You're
I'm
trying to
trying to
get
let
where
you
they at.
know.
I
it's
If
like
it's a goal for you to get
they
married, I'm
say
trying to let you know.
this is what
right.
people fail to understand. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what's beautiful to you may not be beautiful to the next person or attractive to the next person. So what? So that makes no sense when you say a lot of married women are unattractive. She clearly is attracted to her husband because men don't generally just marry anything. I,
No,
And
I'm gonna tell you something, ladies. Our for men, we are very different than you. If you're a woman, this is why a woman can prostitute. If men could prostitute, they wouldn't be able to successfully do it because our eyes are tied to our genitals, and if what I'm seeing it don't pass the vibe check, then we're not there. This shit is not. This shit ain't communicating. The lights all the way off. I gotta like put a blindfold on. You know what I'm saying? I need to be humming and thinking about some past experience of mine. Like I gotta do something like that to get because otherwise, like it's a connection between
Right.
eyes and penis. For women, you can just spit on it, wipe it up, bam, bam, the guy's out.
Oh my
Good
god, I
to
get
go.
it.
Men, we have a working apparatus that is it
It's
requires several different passive systems to work in harmony with one another to create a erection. An erection isn't like squeezing your fist. It's something that happens for you as a man. So you sitting up talking about these women, but they got a man that not only can rise to the occasion for them on a nightly basis, but on a morning basis rises to go and work so that they have the right to rise for the occasion underneath. So you can say what you want about a woman that's already in the winning circle while you bad as hell with 50 guys that's used you and tossed you away. You can say what you want, but at the end of the day, the reality, the reality is saying something. This is something that I love. It's a line, and I had somebody we were talking about. What is the truth? They were like, well, how do you know what the truth is? And I said the standard for the truth is that the truth must be self-evident. And what does that mean? That means that what can we see consistently with our eyes? What is happening most often, most of the time to most people? That is the thing that is most true. And if the truth of the matter for you is you ain't got a man, can't keep a man, ain't never had a good man. I'll ask women, they'll sit up and talk all this shit about men. I'll ask them, I'll say, have you ever had a good man? like a man with a good heart that was hardworking, that wanted a meaningful relationship with you, that you were attracted to and you wanted him back. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well then if you have never dealt with a good man, how in the fuck can you tell me what a good man or a real man is? You weren't raised by one, you ain't fucked one, you ain't been dated one, you ain't married one. How in the you can't raise one, but you want to tell all the men what a good man is? How in the fuck would you know?
Because it's been standard.
I
Real
want I
man
wanted
does
to
this,
add,
a real man does that, and it always benefits them.
right. No,
Always.
I wanted to add real quick. Is it me? The echo? No. Right? Is it? I think it's cool. Breeze. Yeah. Can you guys hear me still? Or it's
I
me,
can hear
right?
you. I can hear you perfectly, mama.
Oh, okay, good. So I would just wanted to say, like, the hate towards women, right? Like the hate that women have towards black men, and black women hating on black women, like J Love said, like the live that you just got kicked out from, Black Jesus, yesterday, like Kana just got rammed by this other woman that was just not agreeing with what she was saying. And I'm so sorry, but I have to bring it up again because it hurt me, because like can I just commented on the comments, and with some stats, and when the stats don't suit them, they react. And I guess that woman was ready. She was on edge, and she went ballistic. Like, when I'm talking about crazy, she went and called her the B word. The host was just there and allowed it. She insulted her. There was other females woman in the panel, not saying much. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the fact that we're right now where we're at, is that they're trying to shut down the black men like you speaking the truth, and the black woman speaking the truth. At the end of the day, we don't even care anymore about, the ones that did their life and that lived and that made the mistake and that ran through, how many guys, and vice versa. We're trying to save the kids. If the
Yeah,
if
I'm doing this shit for the babies. Drake a lot of
right, the
kids.
generation to
I'm
come. That's how
trying to
I
help
see
the
it. That's how we all
babies, man.
see it. Right? We don't
You
care
know,
about,
like
like,
I want, and I'll tell you this, and like it's women like Kanai, where like that helped that she Kanai uplifts me. You know, she gives me hope. When I talk to J Love, when I talk to Nas, when I talk to Learning Tarot, like when I like you guys fill me up, and it's the reason I don't know. I can understand how if men don't have access to women like you, they get bitter themselves and say all the women are trash. But I know they're not, because I get to experience you ladies. So I know that there is a contingent of women who we down but not out. Okay? We are down but not out. There are good women who are here saying, no, you shall not pass, Jezebel. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the way I look at the shit. And I thank
Like
God for you ladies. I really do.
that lie that you just
us
got
too, Black
off of,
Jesus,
when I
us
heard
too.
that guy say that the women with all the tattoos down their body, they are just as, how did he say that? My husband was sitting there. He was like, no. He was like, no. Now, I have
Something.
tattoos, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but he was like a woman who wasn't raised by her dad in the foster system and this, that, and the third, and she got tattoos and she used to twerk. She could, oh, I forgot what he said, but my husband was like, no,
Nuh-uh.
no. He was like, because he said, I'm not saying people can't change. He said, but
Mm-hmm.
once you get to a certain age, both men and women struggle with change. They have a harder time changing and opening up. You know what I'm saying?
My
And
thing,
so,
J Love, it's not even about the change. It's like you don't want the consequences of your actions to ever catch up with you. You want
right.
to be able to
Never.
act and act and act, and then at one point decide to change, but the consequences of everything you did just kind of disappear because you changed. And that's not
Absolutely.
reality.
And
That's not
there
Absolutely.
you
reality.
go.
A
Ooh.
lot of
See,
our
like I
women
said the
feel
other day
that
on
their
the live, I was
consequences,
like,
a
we
man
keep
should just go
talking
along
about
with
body
it.
count not mattering, and we keep saying that body count doesn't matter. I don't care about body count for the man. I could care less about that. It's your image of yourself. Like when you look in the mirror with a high body count, that doesn't, as a woman, me personally, That bothers me.
And it
I
does
don't
bother them
what
though.
I
That's why
don't
they
have
lie about it. If you really were standing in your truth that I don't care about body count and whatever, when you were asked, you'd tell the real number. But they lie.
hello.
Why do you lie? Because you know it matters and it does
Yeah.
bother you.
Oh,
It's
Well,
just crazy.
winner, winner, chicken dinner.
it's the
Yeah.
truth. But
It's
we
a
want to
it's a
go,
it's a
no,
point.
this man who makes six figures and higher, and this man who he might have one or two children of his own, and I got mine, and we're bringing it all in together. But I just want him to accept that I done slept with 75 plus men. What?
No. Hey, good
How
luck.
does that
Listen, check this
make
out.
that make
I say good luck. Good luck, baby. I say good luck. I like check this out. Are there men that will accept you?
absolute?
Sure, there are. There are guys that will accept you, but this is a concept that Kevin talked about a lot, and I really love the way he framed it. He said probability versus possibility. Is it possible? Sure, it's possible you can hit the lotto, but is that how you should plan for your retirement? No, you should be dealing with the highest probability if you want success in your life, and if you're going to ignore what is most probable and make your choices like you can play it fast and loose and then buy a winning lottery ticket, then you don't get to blame the system. You don't get to say, you know what, capitalism is bullshit. And, you don't get to do that when you did whatever the fuck you wanted to do and then got the consequences that come along with it. And the problem that you have is that who is responsible for teaching you that? Who is most often responsible for teaching you structure, accountability, responsibility, consequences, helping to level set you to deal with reality, teaching you what it is that you're going to be responsible for as an adult, and helping you to connect your success with the obligations that are tied with the things that you want out of life. Your dad helps you to build all of that mental schema and framework. What do mothers do? Mothers are great. Mothers nurture you. They pour love into you. You know how they say you got a face only a mother can love. Why? Because you can be ugly as fuck and your mom can be like, baby, you the best. You the best one to ever do it. Ain't nobody like you, sweetheart. A mother pours love into you. And so that's why you have a generation of women who have this grandiose concept of themselves. I'm a queen. I'm a queen. You a queen. You a queen. You a goddess. Like there's God, there's goddess. You a goddess. Like what in the fuck? How can you correct a person? How can a person admit fault? How is it not narcissism to think that you are a divine being, that everything you do is perfect because it's all part of this continual lesson that you're teaching yourself. So if you use somebody, that's where I was at that time. And then all of a sudden you believe all of these things while simultaneously having no understanding of consequence. You got all of these women where I talk to them and they most of them are on this manifest mindset shit. And manifest mindset is a very powerful occult concept. And the concept works like this: what I think about the most becomes what I believe. What I believe is the basis of my actions, and my actions manifest my reality. This is a basic understanding of how you're able to control your life. So what a lot of our women do is they go, okay, well, I think I'm the greatest. I think I'm a queen. I think I'm a goddess. And I refuse to accept any information that does not gel with that because I am manifesting my best self, right? So this is it's this mutated form of it without consequence or any type of karmic balance or nothing like that. They don't really understand the concept. So then when you come to them and say, okay, well, you did this and there's a cost along with doing this, right? And so here's the cost along with doing it. They say, no, I can manifest mindset away the cost. But part of the manifest mindset is understanding karma as well. And
Mm.
karma is that there are consequences associated with every one of your choices. So
Right.
you gravitate, you've latched on to one part of this concept that empowers you, but the part of it that makes you fucking a human being, you have completely divorced yourself from that shit. And so now you are insufferable
because you can do no wrong. Because everything is about your growth and your journey and your path and your healing and all of this. And people should just accept you and love you because you're a goddess and a queen. And the truth is that because you have a nice ass, we're still going to have sex with you.
So this
But
is
And nobody
the
is
thing right
going to
here.
push
When I
you to
hear
start a
queen
family
and
with
I
you.
hear goddess, it about drives me insane. And just for all the reasons that you pointed out. But this is the other thing that I think that we tend to forget. If you're a 10 and you're a queen, where's your room for growth? If
Fact.
you're a 10, where
Facts.
do you grow at? Because I'm sorry, every day I wake up, in my mind, I might be the baddest thing in the world, right? But I know that there's a woman below me that I think is prettier than me. I think Nas is gorgeous. Her
I
hair is
think Nas is
beautiful.
gorgeous too.
I
I'm,
think
I'm
her
telling you,
curls,
Nas and Learning
like,
Tarot.
it doesn't, but I think
Woo.
Kanai is beautiful. But guess what it does?
Oh, Kanai is just
It doesn't
stunning.
make me feel
She's
less
so
of who
classy
I am
too.
as a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like Nas
Yes,
does not put well, she's prettier than me, so she is a beautiful woman. Do
yes.
I think I'm still a 10? Absolutely. But you know why? Because the man that I married makes me feel beautiful every day.
Oh, I
I
bet you he
don't
do.
need the world telling me that, oh, you this and oh, you that and oh, like, is it fun? Is it nice to hear that compliment every now and again? Sure. Like, of course it is, right? But do you think I care that if I walk out my door, nobody ever tells me, oh, you're pretty? No, because I'm married to who needs to worry about how pretty I am. Like, that's my concern, right?
Also, it's
But
not all you have to offer. It's not all you have to offer.
exactly,
You're
that's the
gorgeous,
other thing that I was
and
getting to.
you
So
know
if
there's more.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
that's the other
You read
piece
my
of it,
mind.
just like learning tarot and Nas. If
Right.
you think that you're a 10 and that's all you have to offer a man, what else about you makes you a good
Oh,
woman?
that's the thing.
Y'all
Hold on,
mindset
hold on.
Beauty
alone
They
fades.
is
think
up in
But the
the
thing is,
upper at
no,
least
the thing is,
eights.
I just want to say something real quick. The thing is, like, beauty fades. Like, it's not like this will not stay. Everybody will
Yeah.
eventually get wrinkled up, with the stomach and like what stays is the man or the woman that will love you no
Yeah.
matter what. You know what I'm saying? And just to piggyback off what Black Jesus was saying, the problem is not the woman itself manifesting it. It's her girlfriend hyping it up. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Jesus, I've seen girls, like, right now my social life is at zero. My social life became TikTok now. I have no, because as soon as I got married, it was tough for me to keep my girls, and it was just automatically it was out. But in my past life, I've seen woman hyping a woman up to the point where she thought she was the shit. SHIT, that she overlooked
my
her
mama
man.
say sugar
You know what
honey
I'm
iced
saying?
tea.
Like,
Yeah.
she thought she reached the point where her head became so big that she was treating her man like he wasn't it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they hype each other to the point of, like, you're like, is that a friend or is that evilness? Like, why would you do that to someone you care? You know what I'm? Tell her the truth. Tell her she messed up. Tell her she's wrong. If my girl, because now I have a couple, like, two or three girls that I'm still connected to and that are married, that have children, so it's easier for me to make plans with them and all that. And when they come to me and they're in the wrong, let's say they discuss, you know what I'm saying? I tell them, oh no, you know what? Try this. Stay calm. Why don't you don't talk to him when he comes straight from work. Wait till Saturday that he's off, make a little breakfast, sit down with him and let him know how you feel, because then his mind is not stressed, he's not tired. You know what I'm saying? Instead of,
And
like,
that's I
of
tell
course his
men,
reaction is bad because she brought
yeah,
up the subject while he was mad, he was tired, and then he was like kind of brushing it off and she felt disrespected or whatever. But
Mhm.
taking it in a be a true friend and give good
Mm-hmm.
advice. Don't give advice that will ruin the relationship or take her out and then bring her home at 3 a.m. What are you, like? You know what I'm saying? And then hype her up, be like, "Girl, don't worry, you can get another one. There's plenty fish in the sea." Are you
Where?
crazy? So
Where?
I feel like the real issue is the woman around the woman itself, not the, like. I think that's the worst.
Yeah, single women
Competition
keep
with each
women
other.
single. And one of the things I talk to men about, the communication in relationships is more important to women than it is to men, right? Because communication for women is part of sex. It's it's part of, like, women need it. Y'all need it in a way that men don't need it. We don't need it like y'all need it. It does something different for you than it does for a man. And so when I'm talking about communication to men, I explain to them the importance of being able to listen to a woman without interrupting her, and then also to validate and demonstrate understanding. She needs to, if you get really good at making the person that just finished talking feel like you heard them and you understood them, your communication goes through the roof. It's a skill. It's a skill where if you as a person get good at that, it will improve every relationship you have between your girlfriend, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your uncle, your kids. Everybody likes a person that when they finish talking, they feel like, yeah, he got it. He understands me. Now, here's the thing with understanding. Understanding does not mean agreement. It doesn't mean you have to agree. You can listen to somebody and say, okay, what I'm hearing you say is this. Do I have it right? Or is there something you want to clarify or add? Okay. So that's a very important thing. Now, here's the challenge to the ladies. Oftentimes, women speak in a stream of consciousness. They're just talking. And so as a guy, our attention is finite, okay? Like you can't ask me to listen to some bullshit for about 20 minutes and you just going on and you talking about my mother and what she said to you, and my brother and his wife and how they treated you, and they didn't really like what you brought to dinner, and now this is why my family don't respect you. I can't listen to 20 minutes of that. So as a woman, before you come to me to talk, okay, you need to get together in your mind. What are the 2 or 3 things I really need him to understand before I start talking that I absolutely need this man to take away from this conversation? That's one. And then the second thing you got to figure out is, what am I looking for that'll make this better? Do I need him to apologize to me? If he listens to me and he apologizes, will that be enough? Well, do I want him to try to make this up to me in some way? Right? Do I need him to have a different behavior going forward? And if so, what is it? This is how I'd like for you to do this in the future. Baby, this is what I felt you did. This is how it made me feel. And in the future, I would really appreciate if you did this. So as a woman, you have to go into the masculine by saying, what are the 2 or 3 things I need to get across? And what are the solutions I'm willing to accept? And as a man, you need to go into it saying, I am not going to interrupt her. And instead of responding to her, I'm going to demonstrate I understood what she said before I give her a response so that she feels heard. That way, she has less a desire to cut you off. She has less a desire to yell. It's all of those. If she feels like she's being heard, she's less likely. And keep in mind, I didn't just say she's not going to do it. She's still going to do it because she's a woman and she's emotional, right? But she's less likely to do that. And then I'll give you this one last tip, all right? Tell your woman at the onset of the conversation, baby, I know you're upset. And so I'm making all the space in the world for you to be emotional. I want you to be emotional if you need to be while we talk, okay? However, do not disrespect me. And if you lay that out as a premise, that she's allowed to cry, she's allowed to get frustrated, she's allowed to raise her voice a little bit, she's allowed to do it, but don't disrespect me. Don't call me out my name. Don't fucking passive aggress me. If you set that as a standard up front, she will do better. And this, fellas, is leadership. When we talk about leading a relationship, what does that mean? It means that the woman is allowing you to guide the both of you as a team through the problems that come up in a relationship. And that might be a conversation about the fucking in-laws, or it might be a conversation about how we're going to handle or change the budget, or that might be a conversation about an assignment of chores around the house and something that she's doing she doesn't want to do anymore. She needs you to help out more with it. Those are your crucial conversations in a relationship. Those are important conversations that you can't just ignore and dismiss because those are the components of the fucking relationship. So you have to hear her and listen to her. So I tell guys you need to listen, and I tell women get your thoughts together and get some solutions together before you guys have conversations. And what made me bring all of this up is you got to not ambush people with your problems. So that's what Nas was saying. You can't ambush somebody. You have to make sure they're in a position to talk, to hear your problem and hear your concern, because you don't know what is going on in that woman's day. You don't know what's going on in that man's day. And so you should be able to say to your partner, hey, I'm upset with you. I am. And I need to be able to talk to you about it. Are you in a position to hear me right now? I need you to do it today. I need you to make time for me today. Whatever you need to do to put yourself in a mental space so we can have a conversation, then I need you to do that, because before we go to bed tonight, I can't hold it in. And if I feel like I'm not going to get a chance to talk about this today, it's going to ruin my mood. You are allowed to do that as a spouse, as a wife, or as a husband, to say, I got something, we need to sit down and talk. I need you to be in a position to hear me. Can you do that now, or can we do it later and you need some time to unwind? And then that way the person isn't being ambushed with your shit, because then, maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're wrong. And they don't have the patience to walk you through it because you fucking jumped out the bushes on their ass and was like, bitch, your mama told me this. You know what I'm saying? And now y'all are in a fight when y'all could have worked through it if you could have showed each other some patience, right? So I talk to men all the time about interpersonal communication and their romantic relationships. Women need you to listen to them. And ladies, men need you to get your thoughts together before you engage them. And both of you need to create a safe space for that conversation to occur. And this is my last thing. Like, there's two things you need to make sure that are always the basis of every conversation you have with a person that you're trying to hold a relationship with. One is they need to know that you're not trying to beat them. You're not trying to win. You want the best outcome is a mutual benefit outcome. Baby, I may not get everything I want. You may not get everything you want, but I want to figure out something that you're going to be happy with, while at the same time, if you tell your partner up front when you guys get into it, you say, okay, well, listen, I want you to know that I'm not happy with a solution that's only going to meet my needs. I want both of us to get what we need. Okay? So that's one. And then the second thing is that you always have to maintain a level of respect. And the level of respect is you can't call your partner out their name. You can't take on the bad faith assumption that they're trying to fucking hurt you and use you. You have to keep in your mind that there's no solution we're going to get to that we're going to get to without me respecting this person. And if you do those two things, like, it's not going to fix every problem, but your communication is going to get significantly better in your relationships. And that increases the probability that relationship will grow into deeper levels of commitment, deeper experiences of intimacy, and will last longer. And that's what you ladies want, isn't it?
So let me add one thing to what you just
Hold on.
said.
Before you start, I just want to say, good conversation, everybody. I got to get out of here. Black Jesus, a pleasure as possible. The ladies, chef kiss. I'll see y'all later. Thanks a lot for having me.
Have a
Appreciate
good
you,
one.
Cool Breeze.
So what I want to add one thing to what you said. So as women, we also need to understand that men are fixers. So when you take something to your man, when you talking about, like Black Jesus said, you talking about your mom and them and the co-workers and that 20-minute conversation of, I hate to say nothingness, but that's kind of generally what it is, right? It's kind of not it's just an open dialect, because we as women do that. Men are generally in their minds thinking to themselves, does she need me to fix something? If you
Yes.
take a problem to him,
Right.
you
Right.
had a bad day, a man is generally going, do I need to fix this? Because
Yeah.
honestly, they don't care. It's
Yeah.
not that they don't care about you. They don't care about that conversation, because men are minimalists. They have very few words. They don't speak a lot. They don't talk a lot. So if you go in there talking about, I talked to your mama today, and let me tell you what she said to me, and it hurt my feelings, and blah, 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 blah. Guess what he's thinking? Do I need to call my mama? So his question to you is, what do you want me to do? A lot of the
Right.
times we'll go, what you mean what I want you to do? I didn't tell you I want you to do anything. I'm just saying, ho, 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 ho. Men are fixers. They want to fix it. So it's either a problem or it ain't. That's literally what that boils down to. And ladies, I never come to y'all from a place of what I think. These are life experiences that I've done, I've been through, I've waged through, and that's just what it really literally boils down to. This is a life experience. I had to work at being my husband's wife, just like he had to work at being my husband. And it's not the hardships that you go through, it's what you do on the other side of those hardships. How do you get through it? How do you wade through it? How do you literally deal? Like, I get on live and it tickles me because my husband is not a social media person. He generally does not. But when he sees me on live and he's listening to the conversation, he'll join in. You know what I mean? And that's something. And then we'll talk about the conversations. We listened to Black Jesus earlier. We were listening to the other live he was in and having those conversations and doing those things. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel it is decided upon the man or woman has masculine energy or feminine? I don't really understand what you're asking
Yeah,
me. So
I didn't understand the
can,
question either.
can you reword that question? Because I don't understand that question.
Yeah.
But let me say this other thing about being in relationships. And then I'm gonna let, because I took over Kanaz live last night. My bad. Um, in a relationship, because I see a few people in the comment section while I was listening talk about being submissive and things like that. Ladies, submission is not asked for by men. Let me just tell y'all, they don't come into your relationship and go, are you a submissive woman? Can you submit to me? That's not what grown men do. Grown men show you that this is who they are, and they guide you in a certain direction, and they just live a certain life. And so they don't walk into your relationship going, I'm a traditional man, hear me roar, you're going to submit to me. That's not what men do. Men have they have a natural aura about them. It just is what it is. And either you kind of take your femininity and drive it into his masculinity, and it just is what it is, right? And it's just a natural thing. No, they don't come, can you submit to me? My husband has never in 28 years said to me, I am the head of this household and you submit to me. What? That doesn't happen. it's a natural it's a natural flow into your relationship. So if a man is walking up to a woman and saying, well, can you be submissive? Let me tell you, he don't even know what traditionalism is even about, because grown men don't do that. They just don't. I have never seen a grown man talk about submission in their relationship. Now, can you show a man you know how to be submissive? Absolutely. Can you show a person? Can a man show you he can lead? Absolutely. But y'all want to put these things, y'all want to put the horse before the cart before the horse. When you're dating, that's not your submission pause. You know what I'm saying? That's not where you're showing them that these are the things you can do. And then they either go, you know what, I like this and I want to be over here. Or they go, yeah, she ain't really for me. I don't really want a woman who does that. I really want a woman who, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different kind of thing. Yes, anybody can fake anything. Just comment to who put that in
Mm-hmm.
the comment.
Yeah, like I
And
mean,
I
but
just want to
I don't
add to
think
that
that.
though.
Go ahead, Tara. Go
I
ahead,
want to
love.
add to
Go
that
ahead.
that everything that Jayla was saying, when you meet a man of that caliber, he's not going to negotiate his standards with you. So a
At
lot of
all.
times, a lot of times what's required is for you as the woman, especially because life and the world in general yields for women every time. You're going to bump into a wall right now because this man's not going to yield to you. So now you have to start to change. You have to start and be like, you know what? Okay, what are the things that I can change? What are the things that I can adjust for me to work around him because I want him? And it's a very weird feeling for women who are used to being pursued all the time and never have to change, right? Because all these men pursue you for sex and they never commit to you. And so you're so used to being chased and not having to change and not having to do nothing. And now you meet the man you want and he requires more. You need to stop wanting him to be texting you all day. It's so unrealistic to want a working man to be texting and responding to your messages all day. I mean, come on. He's not gonna put up with your pettiness and the tantrums. He's not gonna put up with the mood swings, you know. He's not gonna let you talk to him certain ways. And so you're really gonna need to look at yourself and be like, all right, how am I gonna work around this in order to keep him? And I was telling the girls in one live that you need to one, change and adjust for a man you want, and two, compete for that man. You need to understand that this man, you're not the only person at the beginning stage. You're not the only person talking to him. So what do you have to give that the other women don't? And when I said that, the girls, I think I got booted from that live actually. They jumped out of everything because they were like, oh, why do I have to compete for him? If he loves me, he'll just love me as I am. And that's how you just don't find anybody. You just don't. You
Yes.
just settle with whoever you have because no one's gonna love you as you are.
Because it's the bullshit. You think the thing is you think somebody is just supposed to accept you the way you are, but you want a man who has built himself into all the things that you want out of a man.
I mean, come
So
on.
you want a man who's going on this journey and built this body up. You want a man who's gone on this journey and got his income together. You want a man who's gone on his healing journey so he doesn't abuse you. You want a man who's got some interesting stories so that he understands how to lead a household. He has the basis to lead out. You want a man that's gone through some shit to become something, and you just supposed to show up with the poo daddy. Is that
No,
what you
no,
think?
no, no, no.
You
They
lost
want
your mind.
I want a man like my daddy. I want a man to do what my
Yeah.
daddy did. Baby, are you your mama? Can you look?
Oh,
You want a man like your daddy, but you can't boil a pot of water. Come on
hey,
now.
hey, and so that's why that's
I
why
mean,
I tell my sons, right? I tell them, son, like you're in a stage in life. And that was one of the things when we were having that conversation last night, where I was like, and my son was like, Dad, and that is why he's like watching this guy is one of the reasons I want to make sure I wait to have sex. Because the way I explained it to my son was like this. I said, listen, I said, you got this thing inside of you right now, and it makes you want to pull your penis out by the root, right? You want to pull on this thing every chance you get 2 or 3 times a day. That's what you want to do. But if you did that, you would accomplish nothing with your life. You would miss your homework assignments. You wouldn't get up for school on time in the morning. You'd be dozing off in class. You wouldn't go to wrestling practice because the same energy that is necessary for you to become something in life is the exact same energy that you use that you disperse when you release, right? So you got this animal inside of you that's scratching at the walls, right? Women have the same thing, except it's not around their libido so much, it's around their emotions. Like in the same way that you want a woman to watch a show or watch a commercial or see something and it makes you want to cry and get you emotional. Have you guys, all you ladies have experienced that, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then sometimes you get that and you feel that way for no real reason at all, right? You just going through your day, you think about something, you see a picture, you think of it like I haven't called my mom in a while and it makes you emotional, right? Okay, so guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Guess what? That spontaneous desire and that spontaneous feeling of emotion, men feel that shit maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month. Y'all experience that shit every day.
True.
Okay? So in the same way that a man has this sexual beast inside of him, a woman has this emotional beast on a leash inside of them. And what happens when you have sex and you're a young person is you're handing the leash of that beast over to a woman who's got this emotional beast yanking her around everywhere. And so now you got no control in your life. And that's why when boys start schooling too early, they end up fucking their lives up almost 100% of the time. Like it's so difficult to cross that line where you now have included somebody else in your sexuality, right? And that person that you have included is emotionally volatile, which is the natural state of a woman to experience emotional volatility. It doesn't mean that she has to be out of control. It just means it's volatile. It's mercurial. It moves around a lot. Now that's once you realize that women are this way, then you can see the strength of a woman, right? Because what you see then is that she's going through these emotional experiences inside of her, and some of them she holds back. Some of them she lets go of and she experiences them, and then she tightens herself back up and boom, gets back on task, right? A woman is able to come apart and then come right back together and be a fucking spear. And that requires a lot of emotional strength. If you as a guy were to do that, if you had a week to experience the level of emotionality that a woman goes through in a day, you would blow your brains out by Wednesday. Okay, man? You would. You would. We're not built to go through what they go through. We're different. Guys have this emotional stoicism because when we experience something emotional, we don't dump as many hormones as you guys do into our body and brain. We're just different than you all. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have feelings and emotions. It's just a totally different amount that's creating a different effect. And once you see this about a woman, you realize that the only way you can have an effective relationship with a woman is if she allows you to be in a leadership position with her. Because for her to have to fall apart and come back together and become the spear, for her to have to do that, and for her to be responsible for your monkey ass, oh man, you can't win like that. Y'all cannot win or survive like that. It's too much on a woman's shoulders for you to be the type of man that requires the woman to lead in that manner. It's unfair to her, right? It's unfair to her. So that's why one of the things women look for are leadership, because when you have a man that you trust to lead, then you have a place of peace where you can come apart and pull yourself back together without having to become the spear, right? And when women don't ever get male leadership and protection, then they continually have to come apart, come back together, become the spear. Come apart, come back together, become the spear. This creates a survival mode where they are not capable of really they are not capable of really giving you the type of trust that is necessary for you to have sustained real intimacy. Intimacy is not sex, okay? Intimacy is acceptance plus vulnerability. That is intimacy. Intimacy is when a woman can be completely vulnerable with you and feel safe to do that. That is a moment of intimacy. Intimacy is when a man can let his guard down with you and feel safe to do that. Intimacy is not sexual. Intimacy is a modifier of sex. It increases the depth and the connectedness of sex, but intimacy is not sexual in and of itself. It just has a great sexual component to it, right? And so my point is that, fellas, if you were to see women for how they are, then you could appreciate the strength that a woman has and be able to move in a harmony with it, right? But a lot of us as men are taught to see women as crazy because we experience them as crazy because we don't know what we're seeing. But once you figure out what you're seeing, then you're like, oh, okay, she's not crazy. She's strong. This is strength. It takes a lot of strength. If this was hormonally happening to me, then I would this would be too much for me. You know, God made us strong on the outside. Men are a third larger than you, right? On average. God made women really strong on the inside in this matter, and this emotional plasticity, this emotional malleability and elasticity. And as a man, if you're going to love a woman, you need to have an awareness of that and be able to appreciate that about a woman, to love a woman properly, right? So, anyways, I was going for a minute. If any of you guys have something to contribute, I welcome it.
Beautiful. I just want to say you explained everything in a proper way. I just want to say well said, and I hope that people are taking notes. Because I feel like when you said that, as soon as a man understands, right, like and the emotional side of a woman and is able to maneuver around it, and and is not just closed minded or narrow minded. And I guess when a man reaches to the point of not selfish anymore, and a woman also on her side with her emotion, and I guess the man with his testosterone level, and his mind being so narrow minded, when they come together and everything balances out, I feel like it's such a nice harmony, because you can read the body language. Like my husband, when I know he can't, like when it's not a time for me to start off a conversation, or like how I feel, I'm like, okay, no, now it's not the time. Let me just, cool it down a little bit. Like, and then because I feel like I get more of a beautiful conversation with him when we get to sit down and talk about it. And he's in a peaceful mind. And I got to be peaceful because I waited a bit, because sometimes we're heated, right? We're heated. So the fact that I waited was actually good for me. And the fact that I waited for him is good for him. So I feel like communication is such a huge, thing for between a man and a woman, because that's the only time you guys really share what you guys feel and think, right? Because a lot of times I don't know what he thinks about certain things. And a lot of times men are just more quiet, you know, the, you
We
know,
are.
and
We need less from you in the things that you need. We need less of them. We need more of something different.
You
We
need them
need more of
differently.
something
It's
different.
not,
And
no, you don't need them
oftentimes,
less. You don't need them less. You need them differently. That's
yes,
the
yeah,
that's the
we
thing.
need it
It's not
differently.
that you need them
With
less. You need them
women
different.
nowadays, they want men to be women. They think that we're supposed.
Mm-hmm.
They think that
Yes.
we're supposed to think and feel like you do. And we don't think and feel like you do. Things have very different values to us. Like I look at the table of my life and I associate value with completely different things on that table. You're looking at the same table, but to you, the pins on the table are more important than the cups. And for me, the cups are more important than the pins. And the reason we were made this way is because we're supposed to cooperate. That way, everything on the table gets coverage.
So Black
Instead,
Jesus,
you
can I
have
answer
when
something?
you deal with when you with a combative woman is a woman who tries to convince you that the cups don't matter. And instead of us being able to cover all bases and fill each other's gaps in, you end up with a combative woman who is arguing with you about the importance of pins and cups, as opposed to us being able to take care of our table. And that is a big issue that we have right now, is men need to be more emotionally intelligent. And you got to understand how men receive this when they hear this emotional intelligence stuff from women. Okay, so let me get this straight. You're yelling at me. You keep cutting me off. You're gaslighting me. You're insulting me. And I'm the one that's not emotionally intelligent. You're the one who's triggered by everything that's said. You can't eat the meat and spit out the bones. Like, everybody needs to find the right codex to say something, any type of criticism to you in, for you to not fucking explode. But I'm the one that's not emotionally intelligent. How can you tell me that you're the one with the emotional intelligence when simultaneously all of this conversation is dominated by your emotionality? Make it make sense. Help me understand.
Hold on, Black Jesus, hold on. Okay, so I can't make that make sense, Black Jesus, but someone asked the question. Someone asked, how do you get your man to open up to you, right? And as a woman, this is my experience. As a woman, in order to get my husband to open up to me, I had to learn to shut up. Sometimes we think that we know what's wrong with them, and we put what we feel on what they're going through. Most of us will walk in, the husband will walk in or your man will walk in and won't say a word. Hey, how you doing? About to be the extent of it. And you automatically start running through your brain everything that you think is wrong with him. He hadn't said a word because it may not be anything, but we have a tendency to push and push and push and push. And then we turn that nothing into something, right? We don't learn to listen to our mates. Sometimes you have to be quiet. That's number one. Number two, stop using their vulnerability against them. A man will learn to love you and will open up to you his vulnerable spots. And then he start giving you his vulnerable spots. And all it takes is that one time for you to use that vulnerable spot against him. He'll never open up to you.
Never.
He'll give you a
Only
little.
once. Shame
He might
on
give
you.
he might give you a little piece of it, but he will not open up to you again if you telling his business to your mama and them, your sister and them. Well, girl, let me tell you what he had said, because you know what. Well, listen. When your man is vulnerable to you, you hold that to your heart. You play them cards at your chest, because at the end of the day, his vulnerability is not his weakness; it's your strength. If a man is willing to be vulnerable to you, he's giving you a strength that you will never imagine. Because at the end of the day, he's giving you something that at the end of the day, you can protect. And we are always talking about a man protecting a woman. Women, listen to me, hear me clear. We are their biggest protection. I am my husband's biggest protection, emotionally, spiritually. I got his back when ain't nobody else got his back. When he walks through that door and he's tired and it's a bad day, I know how to sit and let him lay his head in the bosom of my chest, because I'm his protection. And y'all need to understand that physical protection is his job for you. Your protection for him is his mental, his heart, his spiritual, his when he just can't get. There are days when your man just can't think it. He is on autopilot. He can't think it. So when you take his vulnerability and you use it, I'm telling you, you're destroying your relationship. He may love you until death do us part, but he will not ever open up to you fully on the basis that you need him to open up to you, because you've used that thing against him.
Hey, I want to say this.
I have a question.
Hey,
But
everybody,
real quick.
everybody, hold on one second, baby. I want everybody that's watching this live, like the live. Let's get it to 20,000. And if you got anything to give it to these ladies right here. If you got anything that you want to you give it to these ladies right here, because they are the people that fill me up, right? Because I take a lot of abuse on TikTok. Let me tell you something, man. I take a lot of abuse on TikTok. I really do. And, some people, they think it's my fault, and I get it. I know that I make myself a target because I refuse to get in lockstep with the sisterhood and the code and all of that shit. But I'm just telling you, the women that fill me up are these women. These women in particular, not just the mindsets they represent, but these women in particular. So supporting them is supporting me. Please, if you are getting something, give it to these ladies. And please, let's get to 20,000 likes, okay?
Hold on, one thing right quick, Nas. I'm laughing at my husband. My husband said there's one more thing that the ladies need to know. Stop snitching. He said when he walk in the house and he talking to your mama and your sister and you telling everybody business, he don't trust you with his business because you telling everybody else business. He said, because the first time you walk in and his mama go, well, I heard you having trouble on your job. He said, he's losing his mind. Stop snitching. Somebody said, let my man speak. I don't know why y'all don't believe I have a husband. I really got one. I promise y'all, he's alive.
Yeah.
Husband, your voice. They want to hear that you alive.
So I wanted to answer your question about
Hello.
the emotional
Hold on
intelligence thing.
1 second, Tara.
Hold
Hold
on,
on
wait,
1
hold on,
second.
hold on 1 second, learning
He's
Tara, and then
gonna
you take it away. Hey, what's up, big dog?
You can see, they can see you.
It's Tuesday, December 20th, 12:46. That's proof of life for you. All around.
I promise. I have a hood. Y'all see him. Y'all see him. He exists. He is real and alive. I promise.
He gave
Y'all
us
see him now.
Go ahead, learn to
Bert
tell
said,
him.
"Tell Hook I'm on punishment."
Yeah.
I know some of these people on here from other conversations, but I don't know. I've spoke a few times about. I try to talk to women on here about their value and how much they actually mean to men, and how much my wife has brought into my life. Right. So I know we get on here and talk about black couples and what women don't do and everything, but even the women starting out, the young women, whether you want to be modern or whatever, you got to understand you got to value that you can help make men better. You can build something with them. You can help. I mean, my greatest gift was my children from my wife, and I love her because she did that, and I love to see her interact with my children. And she's put my children on the right track. They're good people. They're better people than we are. She's helped me build a business. She's helped hold me to a higher standard. That's kind of the long and short of that spiel. But yeah, I exist. I'm always kind of busy. I'm working from home, or either on shift at the plant or whatever. But I don't know what else to say, y'all. But I exist. I'm here. I'm real.
The man, the myth, the legend.
He's real.
It's funny.
Yes.
Like, I hear time now for some reason. I haven't been home a lot in the last 3 months.
Yeah.
I've been on shift work, so I've been sleeping during the day and out at night. But here lately, since I've been home for the holidays, kind of, I hear that I don't exist, or I don't know, or are you sure you have a husband or whatever? I've been long enough to know that. So I can tell you that.
Yes, my husband is an introverted man. He absolutely is.
I ain't got no time for it. It doesn't bring me peace or joy, but I mean, I appreciate some of the people on here. There are some really good people on TikTok. Bert is a funny, interesting man.
Bert is my dude, man.
There's a couple of other ones on here. Kevin, I rock with Kevin. Because she's always on, so I hear in the background when I'm running around the house, I hear different people speaking. So, but yeah, I believe that, black
yes,
people.
Yes, Kev, you.
Yeah, that Kevin. I guess. But I just believe that black women, having been married to the woman I've been married to for so long, it is hard for me to hear that black men can't find black women, you know what I'm saying, to do this thing with, right? And I don't know what all the problems is. I ain't trying to solve all the problems. I don't get down like that. But I know that the one that I got means a lot to me. And I protect and provide for her because she is the greatest thing in the world to me. And I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
So yeah, she picked me because I picked her. And I picked her every day.
Tell her.
Every day.
So there it is.
That's just
all right.
perfect.
Everybody satisfied now? We all good.
So if anybody got any questions, they can ask. I got a meeting in about 30 minutes though.
Yep. He's got to go back to work.
Anybody else? I have a quick question.
He's alive, he's real.
Yeah, I have a quick question for Black Jesus, real quick. As a man,
yes.
if let's say for example, because I'm trying to give an advice to one of my girl here. How much of a tool is it? Can you guys hear me properly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. How much of a tool does it take? Is it on a man that doesn't get along with the family of, I guess, la famille de la femme, la famille de la femme, the wife's family? How do you how much of a tool? Not necessarily that there's an issue, but let's say for example, it's a kind of like a culture clash, and.
Right.
And most of the time it's not personal, it's more of they would have preferred kind of thing, and it's and it's never a direct attack, there's no insults or disrespect face to face or anything like that, but there's more of avoidance. How much of a tool would it be on a man, because he most of the time the man's like, oh, I'm good, he doesn't really talk about it, but would it be something that is it like, because a lot of time men just care about, their wife, because they, their house, as long as their actual home is not being, how do you call it, interfered with, right?
Yeah.
And clearly the woman chose him, so it's like it doesn't really matter.
Well,
But yeah, go ahead.
it's a beautiful thing when you marry into a family and you get new brothers, you get new sisters, you get parents that are accepting of you and all of that. That's one of the things that, became important to me after my first marriage, because my marriage to my wife, her parents, saw me. Her parents had money. They had money, and like I got a side of my family that's all doctors and lawyers and judges and business owners, and I got another side of my family, well, mama's side of the family, where they just it ain't like that. They're all the things that we talk about that are the roughest, toughest things that happen in the Black community. And so, my mom was a single mom raising us up. She, had her kids inside of wedlock and then divorced. And then, we as young men, as young Black men, you have to fight your way back from everybody's worst stereotypes about you, whether you're, no matter what, you know. And so for me, I hadn't proven myself yet. I was 26 years old, and her family were jewelers, right? And they dealt in like wholesale diamonds and stuff like that. And so they were a well off family. And I know people don't feel like Black people exist like that, but we do. And for me, we were in a one bedroom apartment, and I was, when my wife got pregnant, I, a month later married her on my lunch break. And then I started working 80 hours a week, so that she didn't have to work because she was pregnant. And that's how that's what I watched my grandfather do. And so I didn't know how to be a dad because I didn't grow up with one. I didn't know how to be a husband because I didn't grow up watching one. But I knew I could work. So I went and I worked my ass off because I knew I could provide. So that's what I focused on. And it was hurtful to me, that her family didn't respect me at all as a person or as a man at all. And I think I wish that she would have stuck up for me in those early years, you know. But maybe now looking at it back as a father with a daughter, um, I don't begrudge them for not believing in me up front because I needed to prove myself, and I hadn't proven myself to them or really anybody else. When I went through my experience with the military, I came out with PTSD. I was in through the whole September 11th thing. Like one minute everything was cool, and then the next minute they was flying planes in the buildings, and it was supposed to be World War III and all of that. And I don't know, for folks who lived through that experience, I was in the service during that period of time, you know, and I was part of an operations wing, so I wasn't somebody that I 100% was going to have to, deploy, whereas other folks, they get into the military and they might be cooks or chefs or bus drivers and stuff like that. I was part of an operations wing. I was in a flying squadron, and so I knew that I was going to get
But
deployed. So
but
for
but
me,
when you sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but when you said like wanting to stick up for you, like in what sense? Like, let's say for example, right? Because like example of hurtful situation would be like, let's say for example, families having a dinner, and then like she would be invited, and then but like not him, but it's like regardless, it was going to be a situation where there's more females at the dinner. But I mean, certain major events, like, do you think like she should not go? Like, what kind of, like, in
I
your
think she
situation,
should
like
set
stick
the
up? What do you mean,
standard.
like stick up? Like
I
really stick
think she,
up? Like
I think
talk
she should.
about it, sit down and say,
Yeah, I
hey.
think she should set the standard with her family that, whether you like this guy or not, he's the one that I'm picking. And I need you to support our relationship because this is a guy that I'm settled on. And if you're not going to do that,
then you're not pushing him away because him and I are together. You're pushing us away. And so if the relationship you have with me is important, and I know it is, you love me and I love you, I need you to show more of an effort because what you're doing causes arguments between him and I. And so I think in my head, it's easier to stay away from y'all than it is to fight with the person I'm sharing my bed with.
But that's the problem. It's not causing. That's why like it's weird because it's not causing any arguments. It's like he's really not showing that it like it
He may
bothers him.
not,
It
he
doesn't
may
create.
not,
Oh, and the opposite side, it's actually more like I want like because they have a child, so it's more like go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and like spend some time with your family. I don't want to be the reason why my child cannot be around your family or get to know your family. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
So it's kind of like that's the problem. It's like
I know, but
not expressing how he feels, so it's hard to know what's going through his mind. You know what I'm saying?
well, then if your friend is having a difficult time getting him to open up about it, then maybe she should play it the other way. And playing it the other way would be her saying, okay, so let me ask you this. Like, how much better would you feel about my family if they were accepting of you?
Oh,
Like how much do you think it would improve our relationship if you weren't excluded from us, being with them as a family and as a couple? Do you think that's valuable to our relationship? And then maybe you can get him to talk about it that way. But I'm going to tell you, like, if he's starting a family with this woman, then family is important to him. And if he's willing to make the personal ego sacrifice of saying, you know what, fine, exclude me so that you can be involved with these folks, then family is important to him,
mm-hmm.
right? And, maybe he just, maybe he doesn't want your friend to feel disconnected from her family and because he realized the importance of it. So that makes him very valuable, right? That he has that type of consideration, and the family of this woman, they need to make an honest attempt to try to include him. And if they're not willing to do that, then it does stress and harm the relationship, even if he isn't manifesting that. Because it mattered to me, and I never said a damn thing.
Oh, okay, that's what I was
I
asking.
never said a damn thing.
Okay.
My attitude was, you know what? It doesn't matter. I didn't know them for my whole life up to this point, and the fact that I don't know them now doesn't mean a hill of shit to me. But the truth of the matter was, I did feel rejected by them, and it did matter. I just didn't realize it mattered until I had qualified myself for these people, and then they were like, okay, this man is a good father and a good husband and a good provider, and he's an honest man. And, our daughter is lucky to have married this man. And now we're divorced, right? And her parents still like me. They like me more than they like her ass. They feel like she fucked up the church's money. They're like, why did you get rid of this guy? So, and, the mother, she still calls me and shit and calls the kids and checks on me. The sister still calls me. The brother still calls me. And we have our own independent relationship, but it didn't start there. It started with, why would you deal with a man who doesn't have his shit together? Because I was all potential and I hadn't accomplished anything meaningful. And then I was like in a broken state. Like I didn't get therapy for, PTSD until I was already married. And I had to try to figure out, was I doing something that was hurting our relationship and stuff, because we were arguing too much. And I'm not,
Right.
I debate with people and shit online, but I don't argue with
Right.
if you're my woman, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to hear
Mm-hmm.
you out. I'm going to consider what you said, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to decide how we're going to handle it. You know what
Right.
I mean? But I'm not gonna argue because I don't think that you can. I don't believe that if I convince you you're wrong, it's gonna make you feel better. So let's say
Okay.
that you feel like your feelings have been hurt. I don't think if I convince you you have no right for your feelings to be hurt, that means that you're gonna feel better. And if the
Right.
goal is for us both to be happy, then me proving you wrong isn't how you're going to feel better. It's going to be, okay, babe, well, let me clarify. This is what I was intending to do. I wasn't coming from this place, but I accept I made you feel this way and I am sorry. Here's what I'm willing to do to make it right. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I approach problems. I don't approach problems in romantic relationships. It's a fault for people to approach problems as right and wrong. Because if what you're willing to accept and what the other person is willing to accept are two different things. And so you need to figure out not what's fair, not what's right, not what's wrong. What does this person want, and are you willing to give it to them?
Thank you
You
so
know?
much. No, I appreciate you. Thank you for like sharing and explaining it. So like we don't take a lot of times we don't take because men don't talk, so it's hard to know what's hurtful, what's not, and a lot like you said, you realize after like
Yeah, after the
how
fact.
painful
Yeah.
it was. But thank you,
It did hurt
thank you
my
for sharing.
feelings. Like it really, and I figured out, believe it or not, I figured out it hurt my feelings in therapy. So I went to therapy the first time during my marriage, and I did that because I was trying to solve what the issue was that was tearing apart, our relationship. So we did, three marriage counselors. I had her see two different therapists. I went to a therapist, and then when the relationship did not work and it ended in divorce, and afterward I went to therapy. I didn't start having sex with women. I didn't do any drinking. I didn't do anything. I cleaned my entire palate, and then I went to therapy so I could say, how am I going to deal with me so that I can have meaningful relationships? Because I had a bad faith assumption about women, and that was hurting my ability to get along with women. And so I knew that I had shit I needed to fix. So that's what I went and did. And that's why I'm such a big proponent for therapy, because it helped me out so much to learn even better coping skills, communication skills, and to figure out how to look at myself.
Right.
And, like it helped me out a ton. And so I'm like, man, the worst case scenario, fellas, if you do go and you get somebody that's good at helping you talk through shit and work through your stuff, and they give you some tools to work through, the worst case scenario is you find out that you're already a well-adjusted man and you don't need it. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is you find that there's a couple chinks in your armor that you could address, and that maybe there's some things to make you a little bit better. Because nobody's perfect, but all of us can incrementally get a little bit better. You know what I mean? And that's what your life is, a story about you getting better and you taking on the responsibility of fixing yourself and taking on the responsibility of getting the things that you want for yourself that you say are valuable to you. You taking the responsibility of doing the work necessary to get and accomplish those things, some percentage of them, right? And then for you to take on the responsibility of working on yourself. That's the point of that's one of the overreaching arcs that you're settling in the story of your life. You know, so I believe that. That's
I
what
think
that's what I think.
That's so
I
true.
think too, just to add on the in-laws thing, um, for me, what I found and what my mom told me was, your family will almost never forgive your husband, even when you do. So don't run back and forth to your family every time telling them, negative things that or whatever things that are happening in the relationship, because they're gonna hold that even when you've moved on. And so it's your responsibility to protect your husband in that way from them, protect and then his family is his responsibility, right? And my family is mine. So I need to stand my ground and say, if you lot are not respecting my husband, you're not respecting us. It's not just him, it's us. And I never speak ill of him, I speak highly of him to them. So they don't have a choice but to treat him well, because what they know of him is what I've said and what they've seen. And so I think as spouses we need to do a better job at presenting our other half to our families, because sometimes we present them in a bad manner and then they get treated bad and it kind of just snowballs from there. But Miss Kana hasn't spoken. I'd love to hear what she has to say.
Right. I was gonna say that. Hey sis.
Hello, hello, hello. Y'all just over here dropping all the bars and
I'm like,
everything. I mean, goodness gracious, kept me occupied, you know? I think I could be in a relationship with all y'all effectively. Great communication. Yeah, it's important. Yes, communication. You know what I think, as I was listening to everybody speak, and give their points on you know, men. I mean, I always take the men part of it because I just feel like in today's society, our men are very much disregarded. So when you hear me talk about men, it's for that reason alone, because I want them to feel included. I want them to know that they are appreciated. I want them to know that they're not disregarded. And they are very important. They are the first line of defense, the first line of protection, everything. They are our world because around us, they built the world and they should be appreciated. So we appreciate you, Black Jesus. Also, I just want to say that, I think the best thing that women should stop and do uh, is to be honest with themselves and say, you know what? I don't know a man. I don't know men. I don't know them. I think that what we need to learn how to do is admit that I didn't have a father or I didn't have men in my life and I don't know men. I don't know how they think. I don't know what they value. I don't know what's important to them. I don't know how to make them feel. I don't know how to love them. All I know how to do is seduce them because most women, that's really what they know how to do the most. That is seduce a man. They like to get them intoxicated and feed their flesh instead of feeding the other important parts that J Love mentioned, which was his mental, his spiritual, and his soul. His soul is important. His spirit is important. His mind is important. What you feed him to eat is important. Okay. So you now become the nurse, right? You now become his wife, his mother. Yeah, his mother. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna be nurturing him and everything. And so what I mean when I say we need to step back and be honest and say, what do I know about a man? See, we think everything else is important. Women will go out there and get a PhD in education, but won't get a PhD in trying to get some understanding about a man. All right? There's no consideration about how he feels he's disregarded. So if you don't study your man like you studying to get that PhD, then you simply are just not ready. Because what you're going to do to a man like Black Jesus and men like him is you're going to come in and wreck his life. You don't know you getting ready to do that, but that's what you're going to do. He's not going to let you, but that's what you're going to do for a man that may not be as sharp as a Black Jesus, okay, or a Black guru or a classic. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to be ready for that. You need to study men. You need to get every book. You need to read books that men read. You need to go to men in your family, men in your church. You need to start doing research on how men work. And the only way you're going to do that is you have to do your research. You have to start admitting that you don't know a man because you didn't have one around you. That's understood. And when you talk to a man, you guys were talking about communication with a man, when to speak and things of that sort. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say this because I'm a strong believer in this. There's really not a lot to say to a man. Okay, the household should be very quiet. I'm not saying you can't talk, y'all can't go back and forth and have a good time with each other. But what I'm saying is that a lot of these issues that women like to bring up to men, you need a girlfriend for that. You need a girlfriend for some of that stuff. You know what I mean? Because like J-Lo say, my father rarely talked on the phone. These men are more talkative today than they were yesterday. What y'all getting from men today, real look, they don't even, my father used to be like, look, baby, you know I don't like to be on this phone. And I'll be on the phone with my dad for 5 minutes. All he gave me was 5 minutes, but he gave me enough that I needed. He'll say, you know, I don't like to be on this phone that long, baby. Now say what you got to say, because daddy got to go take care of his business. But I understood it. But Black Jesus, you know what's so great about that is I was learning about men at a young age, that a lot of men, including my dad, my brother don't even like being on the phone long. You know what I mean? So it's not that they don't care about your feelings or don't care what you have to say, but they would rather you go take that stuff that you don't plan to change and you just want to vent, go take it to your girlfriend. Go
Yeah.
over there and talk to them about it. because they
You know,
have way too much stuff.
they say that women think like what is it, like 30% more thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
or it might even be twice as many more thoughts than a man
Mm-hmm.
does, and
Mm-hmm.
that women speak like 30 or 40% more than a man does. Like the amount of words y'all have inside y'all head and that come
Yeah,
out your mouth to
it's a
a
lot.
man,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a natural deficit. We're not
Mm-hmm.
made to meet your emotional needs, and
Mm-hmm.
that like it's human beings were made incomplete. In the same
Mm-hmm.
way that a woman is supposed to count on her father and the men in her, the non-sexual males in her life for vetting, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to find a husband, but part of the mechanism for finding a husband exists outside of her because she wasn't made complete. In the
Mm-hmm.
same way that a man wasn't made complete, right? There's things that are nurturing that a woman does to fill a man up that gives him the strength to fight another day. That's why men who are married live longer, right? We were
Mm-hmm.
made incomplete. And so, you ladies, y'all, that's why men who are married live longer, right? We were
Mm-hmm.
made incomplete. And so, you ladies, y'all were made to talk with each other more than we supposed to talk to y'all, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
can't hear all that shit, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't hear it
Mm-hmm.
all, okay? You
And
blow my mind right now, all right?
another thing is too, what women have to learn is that you're gonna have to find things to settle your mind. You're gonna have to learn how to sit in meditation. You're gonna learn how to do some prayers. You're gonna learn how to talk to yourself. Get in the mirror and say, "Girl, when he come in his house, just be cool." You know what I'm saying? And then you know what I'm saying. Give yourself a prep talk. You know, it's called prep talk. It's like, okay, I want to say this, but I don't need to say this right now. Let me be patient. Learn how to be patient. I don't care if it take a day or two, but if you got to say something, you send them a good text message, or you know, talk to them and say, you know, babe, I did have something on my mind that I wanted to discuss to you. You know, can we find a good time to do that? You know what I mean? But if you study your man, which is the key point, if you study your man, look, J-Lo, I know she got this down packed, because you will know when it's okay to speak. You will know when it's okay to do whatever you need to do for him if you study him. Because you know what it is? See, we so concentrated on ourselves and being so selfish that we forget he ain't in our world. We are in his world. We're in his world, and we need to learn how to move around in it. And that's not to say that you're not, he ain't sharing with you. But when we go by his lead, it was just like J-Lo was saying, when you study him, you will know when you need to do certain things for him. You just gonna know it. It's like you guys begin to dance together. You guys begin to get in rhythm and fall in sync. But when you're so worried about yourself all the time, see, women don't understand the benefits of serving the man. And when I say serving, I mean, being there for him, having a mind to, be his help, be helpful and things of that sort. When you're doing those things and your mouth ain't moving, he gonna look up and say, baby, come here. How you doing today?
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes
Oh, come here, baby.
you
The way
got to
you're
wait for that.
talking
Come
right
here. You
now, I
got to
want
wait for that.
somebody to sit on my lap so I can play in
I'm
their hair.
saying, it's
It's
like
so
that.
You
true.
know?
Hold
Shit.
on. Look, it's like that.
Woo.
Come here, girl moment. It's like that. Come here, baby. That see, you
Yeah.
gotta wait for that, because when you get that, it's like, oh shoot, daddy want to talk now. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you got to have some patience. I mean, silence is a beauty for men. Having a quiet spirit, that's an attribute. It's beautiful. It is feminine. Even God loves a woman that has a quiet spirit. It says it. First Peter 3, chapter 3, verses 1 through 4. It says it. It's written. Now, why would God want a woman like that? Why would God want to say, you know what? I even like a woman that is quiet in her spirit. Why? Because it allows the men to have directives, give instruction, and it allows the household and everything else to fall in order. Now, I'm not saying that everything is perfect, but what I'm saying is you can actually create a great relationship with the man that you're with if you just go by certain rules of femininity that will get you to the point that you need to be at with your man, and he will start to trust you. And let me tell you something else. Patience was the first thing I said, in privacy. Men do not like for women to discuss their stuff out in the streets with nobody. That coming in the house and hearing you on the phone talking and running your mouth, you better hang up the phone. When you look here, get off the phone. Because if you coming in the house, he coming in the house and you hear, yeah, because he did this and he that. And the first thing a man do is drop his head and shake it. And the reason why I know this is because every time my cousin, she had a husband, every time she's on the phone, she just, telling all the business, family, and all of that. And I will watch her. I will watch him come. I was 19 years old. This is what I noticed. I'll watch him. She talking about him, and it wasn't all good. It's spreading the business, what they got to do in the house, and you telling all your financials. You making that man look bad. You're tearing him down. You don't even understand. Even if you think it's constructive, he does not want you to tell your business like that. That is his house. That is his house. That's his household. Nobody else's business. So it's gossip. They can't stand that. They cannot stand that. Close your mouth. Stop telling all of his business. Stop leaving him naked and vulnerable. And then when he go to the family reunion, everybody looking at him like, mm-hmm. That's what J-Lo mean when she say protect. So privacy, be patient, and protect. Why? Because your man, when he doesn't feel like you respect him, that's another level of respect right there. You know what I mean? Privacy. And he knows that I could tell her this because she don't spill. I don't know nothing about my best friend's marriage other than what she tells me. I do not know. All I say, how's he doing? Oh, he doing good. She might say he wasn't feeling well or something like that. But that's it. I don't know the intimate details about them. I don't know any, and I don't. You know what, Black Jesus? As a woman, I don't care to know. It's not my business. I don't want to know nothing about your husband. I
Now
don't
check
want to
this
know
out.
nothing at
Check,
all.
check this out. So fellas that's in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
if you have one of these ladies, then you ain't got to go nowhere, do you? That passport shit is off the table, right?
Yep.
If you had a woman that thought like this and moved like this, then the passport shit off the table. We don't need to do nothing.
And
It's
we
a
in
wrap.
America.
We can find it at home.
But see, Black Jesus, where the problem lies is that when we have these conversations, we are behind the times. We are,
Pick me's.
too submissive. I'm not even gonna go to the pick me, right? We younger women feel like when we say these things that
We
we're taking
slaves.
something from them. Nothing in what Kanai has ever spoken has said you can't work. Nothing that Learning Tarot has ever said says you can't work. Nothing that Nas has said ever said that you can't work. But for some reason, it is put in your brain that if you are a submissive wife, if you live in a marriage like what we're describing, that you are this weakling of a person. I'm actually the strongest person in my house because I carry the weight and just like a
The way
man
I
carries
heard your
the
husband describe you,
protection.
I ain't hear nothing that made me think that man felt he had a weak woman.
Right.
Not a damn thing he said made me feel like he
Listen,
got a
this is
weak
what I
woman.
know. Black Jesus. Men like you can't have weak women. Y'all got to have strong women.
Mhm.
Because we
Mhm.
got a backbone that we got to carry. But guess what? We love it. And see, at the end of the day, when we have these conversations, we talk about just like this person in the comment section, and normally I try not to read them and get in. A man never submits to a woman. The man is actually the most submissive in the house. What are you talking about? Men have to provide, protect. They're the financial bearers of every want, need. Every decision that is made in the house is a decision that falls on the man. I will say this until the end of time. If I make a decision in my house, period, if it goes awry, who's gonna fix it? My husband's not gonna leave it to me
Let me
because
say something
it's
real quick, J Love. Let me say something really quick. Now I know that people say that men are submissive to women, and I don't, and I understand what you're trying to say. I just don't agree with that. I like what Bert says. Bert says, and he puts it best: men submit to their obligations and to their God. And if you are a woman and you just happen to be in that space, you're his obligation. He values you. He's going to do what he needs to do. You know what I mean? I don't think it's natural for men to say, okay, they submit to them. That just don't sit well with me. That's your opinion,
Well,
or that's what
but that's not
I
what
think
but
but
I think
what
it's
you
I
no,
think
but
said.
it's
hold
a
on, let me
semantical.
finish. Let me finish. to God in there. Yeah. See, Bert explained it. I like the way Bert put it because I think, see, even Sharzad Ali said it's not natural for a man to submit. That's not exactly what it is. That's not exactly what it is. But I understand what you're trying to say. I get what you're trying to say. I just don't view it that way. I don't view it that way. But what I will say is this. I believe that a man who is submitted to God and his obligations, and if he has a wife, she's automatically in that, in that obligation. A man, whatever he has in his household, whatever he builds, he values that. So if he has a wife, he will love her, he will cherish her, he will nourish her, and he will make sure that he takes care of her. He will value her. She will not be left out. She will not be unloved. She will not, you know what I'm saying? She won't lack anything. You know what I mean? I just think that men that submit to me makes them sound like it's feminine to me. I just don't like the term and use it. And I don't see it that way. I just see it as, just like Bert put it, she is in his life. He's obligated to her and he takes care of her. That's what I see. I don't
I
see
agree.
the
I agree
submission
with
part.
that.
I
Well,
don't see
but
that
this is
part.
the
Yeah.
thing. This
I
is
But
the
I think
thing.
it's
And so
semantical.
this is where, and this is why I say it the way that I say it. Because
Right.
everybody, when we
Get this
turning into
argument.
this very next thing, right? And
Right. Uh-huh.
so Bird is saying what I'm saying from a man's perspective. I don't view myself as
Okay.
an obligation. So that's the reason why I'm not saying what he says is incorrect. But
Mm.
we have this idea that in marriage, men don't have a yielding to women. Men do yield to women. It
Yeah.
is on the things that the woman is dealing with. So if a woman is the stay-at-home wife and she's running everything, um a stay-at-home wife, she's running everything. Sometimes that man don't know what's going on in the house, right? So if he doesn't know what's going on in the house with these kids, sometimes he's got to say, well, hold on a minute, because grandmama might call and say, hey, I want to come pick the grandbabies up, right? Well, my husband is not just gonna be like, oh, well, come on and get them. No, he's gonna say, hey, hold on a minute, let me talk to Jay, because I need to find out what's going on over here. That's not him turning into mud and putty and, oh, he's my whipping board. That's him
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, let me find out what's going on. So he's yielding to my authority on that situation, right? That's what I mean. When we hear submission, we want to think it's a bad way of thinking. I get what you and Bert are saying, and I'm not debating that. But my challenge with that is, when we're trying to get younger Black women to understand submission, and we use words like obligation, it
Mm.
is a bad combination in
I don't think it's
my.
a bad. I don't think that's bad. You know
Well,
what
the
I
reason
think
why.
that they. Well, hold on, J Lo, because I don't. I want to say something. I don't look. They think that the word submission is bad. By you saying the word submit. They don't even like that word. Wait a minute, J Lo. They don't even like to use the word gender role no more. There's so many words out here now that they like the things that we just do. Like you were saying, when a man is operating his masculinity or whatnot, it's just something that shows up. It's just who he is. And I was just saying in the comments, that's the same thing for a woman, because I also wanted to say this too. I wanted to also say, when you guys were talking, you know, when a woman knows her assignment as a man, as a woman in a man's life, a lot of this stuff that we talk about, this stuff don't even come up. This is a woman who knows, it's just like a position with a job. Why are you applying for this job? What is your duties and how are you going to fulfill those duties? And are you qualified? And what is his expectations of me? Every job that I've gotten hired at, I'm always asking the employer, what do you expect of me? Okay? What do you expect of me? All right. And I need to know what that man that I have expects of me, so that I'll know, okay, because like you were saying, they're going to lead you, right? They're going to show you what they need. And they ain't going to keep on talking about do it like this, do it like that. They ain't going to keep having that conversation with you. You're going to have to catch on, and you're going to have to get in motion, and you're going to have to get in rhythm, and you're going to have to follow while he's leading, right? And so see what it is women still want to be. I'm not saying a woman can't lead. I think a woman can manage her household and do what she needs to do for the man. I like how you run your household, J Lo. Wonderful. But what I'm saying is that to me, in my mind, I don't see a man uh, uh, um, bowing down or my authority or whatever. I don't even use those terms when it comes to me. I just don't. That's just me. Okay, that's just me. No, nothing against nobody else, but because
So,
because I think he's being gracious. I think I'm finding favor with him. I think
oh,
that's what I think.
okay.
That's
So
how
let
I
me
think.
let me let me speak to something that you said that I hear, and it's not just you; it's a lot of people. And as a married woman, it twerps my nerves almost when I hear people comparing what women do in marriage to a job. Let me explain. It's a fundamental difference to to do what you're supposed to do in your job versus what you do in your marriage, right? It doesn't go hand in hand. So when you describe it that way, it is not the same. When I go to my job, I go to collect a paycheck. I go to do this thing. With my job, I can leave that job. I can go get another job, right?
You
But
can go
in
get
my
another husband
marriage,
too.
my submission, I'm not trying to go get another husband. I'm trying to make this work.
No, I
So
understand that.
I think
hold on, Kanai,
I'm
hold
holding.
on.
Y'all had a chance to talk for like a whole hour, and you want me to
right.
hold on.
Okay,
Right,
okay.
and
Said that the
I'm
whole
After
just
time.
after
I'm just trying to get
I
you
want
to
to answer Nevaeh.
understand that when we're describing marriage as a job like the one you go to, it falls on the wrong ears because it's not the same. I can leave a job. I can go get another job tomorrow. If we're trying to get people to understand marriage and to stay married, we have to stop comparing it to things that you can just get rid of. Just like the argument, oh, I need to have sex before I get married to see what it do. It's just like buying a car. I test drive a car. What? We have to get rid of using these kinds of terminologies in order to get the younger generation to understand what we're trying to do. Because my job is not an obligation because I can get a new one. My responsibilities to my family are different than my responsibilities to my job. It's just
I
different.
understand what you're saying, J Lo, but I don't think that I'm not going to that extent. It's just an example, nonetheless. All I'm saying is that it's still a commitment, nonetheless. You still have a commitment. I'm not saying that I'm not comparing the job as to say. All I'm saying is this: there are certain things that you can't compare. You can use different examples and analogies. It's just an example, right? I'm not saying that the job is like the per se the marriage. I'm just saying, like, when we talk about gender roles, people don't think that there are roles. There are roles. Jobs have roles, positions and duties and roles. And the same thing in the home. It's just all it is a comparison. All it is similarities. I'm just talking about the similarities, okay? So it is similar that just like in a job, you have roles in a marriage. Yes, you do. And people automatically go to task. Well, that's evident. Task? No, we're talking about submission, being cooperative. You know what I'm saying? And on your job, yes, you do need to be cooperative. Yes, you do. Because if you don't be cooperative, you're going to lose that job. And if you're talking about a man being with a man like Black Jesus or any other of these men that think the way they do, you need to be cooperative with them too, or else you might lose your job. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm making that kind of comparison. I'm not necessarily saying that, the job thing is just the overall example of what marriage is, but I am saying that there are similarities because we feel like everything that we see, this is why the home is breaking apart. This is why the home and the family fails. Because do you know that everything we do outside of the home, the rules, even when it comes to dating somebody, a job will do a background check on you. What about you? Did you do a background check when you started to date this person? I mean, same rules apply. We don't apply any of the outside rules everywhere else in a church, in an institution, a company. If we apply some of those rules in the household, it might be better. That's all I'm saying. The things that we do everywhere else, studying, going to get a degree, and all these sorts of things, if we did that in our homes, the same rules apply. It probably would make more sense to us how we operate and how we move in a home. That's all I'm saying. The things that we do outside of the home, we neglect to bring some of those things into our house. The house is chaotic. Ain't no structure. Ain't nobody doing nothing over here. You didn't put up your stuff over there. It's like the home is chaotic. Why is it like that? We have no order, but everybody else, everyone else, every other institution, church, school, everything else, they have structure, they have rules, they have standards. What about the home? What about the home? That's all I'm saying. What about the home?
I I think it has to play. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, thanks. So I wanted to just add quickly on what Jayla was saying about the submission part, and that I think Bam was saying it best here on TikTok that I heard it describe it best. How men, when a man like gets with a woman, right, in marriage, in a relationship or in marriage, what he's saying is he is willing to stand between you and whatever danger is out there. So this man is literally giving you, like, submitting his life because he will protect you at whatever cost it is. So if you're out there and danger comes, it's his life that he's given to you. So in many ways, the men like
No,
um
I understand what she's
right.
saying.
So I just wanted to add that into what she was
Hmm. How
saying.
you doing, Terrell, by the way? How you
I'm
doing?
good. How you doing?
I'm doing
So
okay.
I want to say this. I think that what Kanai is saying, um, she said she made 2 points, and one of the points is how important structures are to keep things working over a period of time, and that when we define a structure through the obligations, the task, the responsibilities, and the roles, then because people are moving in that defined space, they're more likely to be able to perform over time. And we see that because that's how we run all the institutions that we expect to work for us. So, I understood what you're saying, and I agree with that. The second thing that I felt Kanai was saying, and I invite you to correct me if I missed something in that explanation or summarization, right? The second thing that Kanai was saying was that she doesn't want to kowtow to the sensitivity of combative women by saying that men are have to be submissive to them too, so that they will buy into something that is good for them any damn ways. So when I hear Kanai always pushes back against men being submissive because I use the term when I explain it to men and women, I say that women submit to the man and the man submits to the relationship. And the premise of that is the exact same premise that Bert is saying. He just doesn't use the word submissive. So it becomes a semantical argument if me and Bert were to go back and forth on it, because Bert is saying that, hey, here are the inherent obligations of taking on the responsibility of starting a family with a woman. Because for a man, it's not just a relationship. For a man, it is what is the work required? What are the responsibilities I have to accept to start a family with this woman? We're starting a business called family in my last name. And so, what is it that a responsible man has some inkling or understanding of that when he is approaching it? And that's why men, they wait more on marriage because they realize the inherent responsibility and gravitas of that type of commitment and decision. Good men do, right? So I think that what Kanai is saying is that, hey, I am stuck on this word submission because to me, it is a higher, it's a deeper thing that we're doing when we associate it with men and we're careful about how we associate it with women because what we're doing is we're feeding the exact same ego that caused the dissolution of the black home in the first place. Kanai, do I understand you or do you want to
Yeah,
correct
no,
anything that I
absolutely.
said?
No, you absolutely understand what I'm saying
Yeah.
in terms of coming from directly from a man. I think too, and this is to not to say anybody on here doesn't have femininity because I believe we're all feminine women. The way my mind thinks, because having a father, oh my God, having a father had a lot to do with the reason why my mindset is the way that it is. Um, Great authority figure. Never wanted to feel like I had to be in power some kind of way. I know where my power lies, but I don't need that to, I don't need to have that. I have to be. I think a lot of women today feel that they have to have the need to say, I am in control of something. I am in control. I am in control. I'm in my position in control, But the way that I want to be in control and offer up this femininity to this man has nothing to do with me presenting what I'm in authority over. I just don't have that kind of a mindset. And I think that just comes from having my father. I don't have a desire for that. All I have a desire to do is, just like Kennedy said, don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you could do for your country. I want to know what I could do for him. I want to know how I can please him. I want to know how I can serve him. That's my ultimate goal. I want to know that. And so with that, I don't have a need or want to be in any kind of position of power. Because what I do know is, as long as I'm resting in my femininity, that is also power too. I don't think about it being power like that. I just communicate that to y'all for the sake of the conversation. But for myself as an individual, I'm in my femininity saying, you know what, whatever it is that this person needs, that's what I'm going to do. It is his directive to me, and I'm going to carry that out. Now, do I know I know what I need to do around here? I know what I'm in charge of and things of that sort. I just don't boast. I don't boast it like that. I don't brag about it, or I don't assert myself like that. You know what I mean? I just don't do that. That's just me though. And I think that just comes from having a father that was a great authority figure, and him teaching me how to have a mind to serve. You know what I mean? To serve
Yeah,
my
my
community,
daughter,
to serve.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like my daughter is used to getting correction from me as a dominant male figure. She doesn't feel diminished
Yes.
as a person
Yes.
or as a girl because I say, no, I don't want you to do that. I need you to do it this way. Or, sweetheart, I need you to do this for me. Or, babe, let's sit down and talk about that. I don't want you to handle things that way. This is not how I need you to look at it. I need you to consider this so that you can look at it this way going forward. My daughter is used to receiving correction from a dominant male figure. She doesn't feel like she's being oppressed by her father.
In
She's
control.
protected. Yeah, she gets to be a ninja princess, or whatever the hell, because she's, rough and tumbling, and she likes gymnastics, and she can do as many pull-ups as my oldest son can do, but at the same time, she likes, makeup, and she does her hair, and we do her hair in the morning, and I'm braiding her hair with her, and that's time that we spend together and we talk. She's as feminine as you can possibly imagine, while simultaneously, and that's something that she gets to be that because she knows that her dad she's underneath the umbrella of her father. She's covered. And so as a woman, when she grows up, she'll be able to deal with a dominant man who can be all of that, and she doesn't feel diminished that she needs to assert herself. It's the same conversation we've been having as a community where the women say, well, I want a man, I don't need a man. Why do you need to make a semantical argument between want and need as it pertains to men? Why
Right.
is your ego so much a thing that you need to make sure this man knows that you don't need him? And that's why I tell men, listen, women like that, don't deal with them. If you're a woman where you say, I want a man, but I don't need a man, you know what? It's cool, babe. Go and find the ninja you want then. We're good over here, right? Because men need women. So why is it that why do you have to assert yourself in this way in a relationship? So if submission is a word that bothers you as a woman because you feel like somebody's trying to control you, then I don't think you understand how to get along with a man in a relationship. Because if you did understand what submission represents in an interpersonal romantic relationship, you wouldn't be offended by the word. But you don't understand because you got all this trauma and bullshit, or you've never seen successful relationships between a healthy dominant man and a healthy dominant or a healthy feminine woman. You've never seen that dynamic play out and how it passes energy back and forth to one another, and how it has this general way that it's able to move because the man is doing a good job with stewarding the relationship, and a woman is doing a great job supporting him and helping to counsel him so that they can move as a team. Because you've never seen that before. I got to see that. My grandparents were married for 60 years. And I watched my
Mine too.
grandfather grow
62
up.
years.
Yeah. And I watched a good man love an incredible woman for a whole lifetime. So I know it can be done. I
Right.
know for a fact it can be done. And my grandma, she was soft and sweet and feminine, but she wasn't weak. There was nothing weak about that woman. So I know that a woman can be strong and be in cooperation with the dominant man. I've seen it, and because of
Absolutely.
that, I
I
refuse
don't
to accept
disagree with that,
anything
Black
less.
Jesus,
But
at all. But
can I
my
just say
thing
something? Can I
is,
just say something real quick? Um, like the dynamic of a man and a woman in a relationship, right? When we talk about submission, right? Like a man, a woman gets married, a woman gets pregnant, like she's always getting something from the man, you know what I'm saying? And when he's marrying you, normally in our culture, you are supposed to basically complete him, and like y'all move together towards prosperity and higher, and growing up your family. So I don't see, I kind of agree with Kana, because it wouldn't be like I don't see my husband submitting to me in that sense, because if I'm accepting, and trusting that he is the leader in this household, is me putting my trust and me, in his arms to lead us to, you know what I'm saying? So like I feel like the dynamic of the word submission, and by definition, um wouldn't work on the man's side. Now, off Kara's obligation, because J Love is like, I don't see me as an obligation, but technically, like, in our culture as well, if anything goes wrong in the family, or things are not paid, or like, you know what I'm saying, the house is chaotic, the first person my dad is going to sit with is my husband. What's going on? So the pressure is on him. So he has obligation towards the family itself. It's not just like him being my husband, but it's a whole bundle. So I feel like, first of all, there's a lot of pressure on men. Thank God I'm a woman. But you know what I'm saying? Because like I feel like nowadays women like complain and all that, but we have, like, this house is built for us, and we get to, next year I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom, and I'm like so excited because we want to try for a second one, and it's like he's probably never going to be here, but it's like I'm enjoying it, cleaning, decorating, and enjoying this house that he built for us. So I just feel like I don't see it in that sense. Maybe another word, but by definition, and the way the structure, if you're really traditional and going by the gender roles, and of course culture, religion plays along with it, I feel like, he could, like, he listens to me, he takes my advice, but it's like, if I'm following him, and he's not following me, it's like the order wouldn't make sense if, he were to submit to me. I don't know how to explain it, just by definition, like, or how your house would be structured. But I mean, like you said, J Love, I seen you in a couple of lives, you said every house is different. Everybody got to live the way that they want to live, and what makes them happy. Work if it works for you, if it works for anybody else, go for it
Well,
100%.
you
But
like
so hold
I
on.
bet
So wait a
I
minute,
bet
Black
if
Jesus.
we talk,
Let
I
me
bet
let
if
me
we
point
broke
out
down the
something right quick.
dynamics, I bet if we broke down the dynamics of J Love's relationship with her husband, it would be the same damn dynamics that took
right,
Yeah.
that's
place
what
in
I'm
the
saying. A
We're
lot of
apartment.
people,
we're
Yeah.
sitting
I
here,
really think the difference
arguing.
is
It's
semantical.
really a semantic thing, right? Because
right,
Yeah,
uh,
I really
to
think the
say
No,
difference
that
it's
is
to
not.
say that
semantical.
your spouse does not submit to you, that a man doesn't submit to his wife, is actually okay. So let me give you an example. If you are married and as a wife, because we all agree that every woman has a protection piece for her spouse and things like that, right? If you see that your man is run down and he's sick as a dog, and we all know that men will continue to go to work and push through and push through and push through and push through and push through. As a wife, it is my job to look at him and say, if you don't go lay yourself down somewhere and get better, because if you're not well and you're not healthy, we're not going to survive, correct? And generally, the husband goes, you're right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay down.
Right.
That is your husband yielding to what you said. So that is a form of submission. But we don't want
Okay.
to put it on men, because then it turns into, well, y'all say women are supposed to submit only and blah, 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 blah. All I am saying is this. I get that submission is for wives. I understand that, and a woman will submit. That I get all of that. Not debating any of that, because I'm a very submissive wife. But I want people to understand I want men to understand. See, we want to argue semantics. We want to argue that it's not submission, it is him cooperating with your suggestion. No, if I tell my husband you are sick, get in there and get in that bed, that ain't a suggestion. That is a you going in there, because if you go out here and get sicker, this is going to be worse. That ain't a suggestion. That is a you going to lay yourself down somewhere, rest your nerves. That ain't a suggestion. But this is my point right here. At the end of the day, men don't submit to women in the way that women submit to men. That's just a natural thing. And just like Black Jesus said, we can argue it, and break it down piece by piece, and it's all going to come back to the same thing in the wash, right? But the reality is this: if we are trying to get our Black women to understand what this whole submission thing is, there's a conversation that needs to be had so they can understand it in a better way. Because the way, and we can say, well, we can talk about it, and it's not about changing your verbiage. It's not about even changing. It is explaining to them what it's about and what it looks like and why it's healthy and why it's a good thing, and not demanding that you understand that this is what it is. Because at the end of the day, we all know that everybody's going to have all kinds of relationships, and for some it may apply and some it may not. Brother Mango, you can say that I'm incorrect all you want to, but I've been rocking this for 28 years. So this submission thing, I got this on lock. But it's cool though, right? I just think that we as a people, yes, we need to have the conversation. Yes, we need to get the message out. Yes, we need to do all of these things. But I need for us to stop making it seem like women are just at this point in life where everything is yes, master, yes, boss, yes, master. That's because that's not what submission is. But when you sit and you listen to these conversations, that's what it sounds like. Whether that's the intent or not, that's what it sounds like. And at the end of the day, we need to get the explanation out so it doesn't sound like, because it makes women sound subservient and like we're slaves, and we're not. So if you got one person making women sound like they're subservient and like we're slaves, and we're not. So if you got one person making women sound like they're subservient and slaves, and then you got a woman trying to get you to understand that, hey, this thing over here is a beautiful thing, that's where the confusion comes from.
Let me say something real quick, J Lo, in regards to what you just said,
And I want you to go, Kanai, and so I'm not gonna stop your interruption, but I need to rotate some of the boxes too, y'all, because I got a couple of people who are waiting to come up. One Red Scorpion, Cousin Carl, Catalyst, and Sylvester Moss. But I want to keep women on the panel too.
Okay, no problem.
You guys are, I need you guys' input in the conversation. Okay, but go ahead, Kanai. I'm listening.
Do you want me to go down, Black Jesus?
Yeah, but just please stick around so you can come back up. I need you ladies flowing in and out of this.
Okay, no problem.
Make sure the conversation.
I'll drop to be fair, because I've been here the longest. No worries. All right, I'll be.
Yeah, I can drop too. It's all
right. Okay, don't go anywhere. Just keep coming in and out so that we can have y'all energy keep flowing in and out.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Kanai. I know you were about to share some ideas with us.
I don't disagree with J-Lo when she talks about what the conversation sounds like, but here's the thing. We are all accountable for ourselves, and we're responsible to make sure that we understand, and not just by sitting on a TikTok and listening to people's opinions about what they think something is. I'm a firm believer, and like my father always said, don't take nobody's word for anything. Go research and figure it out yourself, examine it, study it yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So we're all responsible and accountable for what we know and for what we understand. So I think that even after we have these conversations, I mean, I sit here with notes. I take this serious. This is not just a conversation, just be rambling off at the mouth. I'm writing things down. I'm going to go research what Black Jesus said. I'm going to go check out what J-Lo said. I'm going to write something down to even have a topic on it to talk about it even further to see, how it goes. Like, that's what I do. And I think that we need to stop depending on, like, we go to church and we listen to a pastor. Don't nobody go back home and open up that Bible and read and see if pastor was saying if it was in line, if it was accurate. We got to do the same thing wherever you go. And my father always taught me that. Don't take somebody's word for something. Make sure you take what they say and check it out for yourself. You know what I mean? And so we are responsible for that. So whether it sounds like it or not, you know what these terms mean. You know what these terms mean. Or if you don't, you got Google. You can get on your computer. You know what, Black Jesus, while I'm sitting here talking, I constantly, let me go see what let me see. I'm researching while I'm talking.
Right.
I'm looking up words while y'all talking. You know what I mean? And so, J-Lo, I think that we should also take the initiative as adults, right, who plan to have a better future and a better generation for our children. Let me go and do some further investigation and get the true meaning of what these people are saying and see if that can apply to my personal life. I think that we owe ourselves that, because this is a teaching moment. Every moment is a teaching moment, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. It does not matter. It's still a teaching moment, and solutions still derive out of any conversation. I don't care what it is. My father always told me this: make sure you get what you need out of it. Everything might not be truth, but you can eat the meat and spit out the bones. Just take what you can get from it. And whatever you got from it, go research it, eat on it, meditate on it, and see how it can apply for you. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. You know what I mean? I think we need to make sure that when we have these conversations, that we also are being constructive, productive with this stuff, and really go back and research it. I listen to what Red say. I listen to what Black Jesus say, Black Guru, Classic, all of you men, all of you women who have great advice and things to say. I'm researching you. And I want you to do the same to me. I want you to hold me to the same fire. I want you to, hold me to be accountable too. Not just me holding everybody else accountable. Kana, this is what you said here. I don't really agree with that. What did you mean by this? Give me some clarification. Okay, because I'm going to go do research on it afterwards. You see what I'm saying? Because yesterday when those people was calling me out of my name and calling me bees and calling me bald head and all that, because I gave them straight facts, right? All that girl had to do was say, you know what? I respect what you said. Let me go look it up and see if it's factual. Because I'm not attacking you, emotionally and personally. I'm just speaking the facts.
Yeah, you
So you
have
mad at
people.
the truth.
Yeah, you have people where, and this is one point I'm making, and I want Red Scorpion to get a chance to talk because he's been so patient, and I appreciate you, brother, for wanting to come up and give us some of your perspective. But whenever somebody attacks the person, that means that I don't have anything to say on the topic. If I had a great point to make on the topic, I would have led with that. I would have led with that. But instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, "Are you married, J Lo?" "Oh, I don't believe your husband exists." You know what I'm saying? Kanai, you're not currently married, so you can't say nothing about this shit. We get to ignore everything that you said because I'm going to attack you personally. And whenever somebody does that, that means I have nothing of value to say on the issue. You have beat me, but and because of that, rather than say, you know what, I need to check that out, I'm gonna try to character assassinate you, right? Or I'm gonna try to embarrass you and diminish you, and see if I can do such a good job of that the low level people in the room are gonna respond to that more than the fact that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
go ahead,
a lot of you men stand on principle, and see, that's the thing that you also get from a man. I'm gonna shut down. You also get, your daughter's gonna be so logical too, because she has the logical side of her father and the way that he thinks and the way that he does things. And I got that from my dad. And I thank God that I got both sides. And I'm still a woman. At the root of me, I'm still an emotional creature. But at the end of the day, I seek to understand, and that's why I'm able to better receive the logic better than most, okay? And I'm able to understand without a fight, without oh, that don't make sense. What you mean? I'm like, okay, when I'm trying to talk with you, I'm trying to understand you. So that's how we're gonna wrestle. We're not gonna wrestle because I'm being combative because I disagree and you don't make no sense and you a man and your opinion don't matter and your feelings don't matter. No, I'm trying to understand because When I get that understanding, when you give me the understanding as far as how men think on this, whatever that is, that principle, I'm going to take it to Kanaz Live and I'm going to give it to everybody else. You make me better. That's just that. My daddy made me better, and my brothers do too. So that's the end, and that's all I got to say about that.
Red Scorpion, the floor is yours, kind sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you allowing me to come on. For all of those who don't know me, I haven't been going live lately because I've been trying to figure some things out. These are things I've been talking about since the middle of last year, and I'm really tired of talking about it because I'm not really seeing the progression that I think that we can make as a people. With that being said, I'm taking another direction, if you don't mind, bro. I'm gonna ask a question so that I can get a little bit of feedback. Therefore, I can give the answer. First thing I want to ask, how many people in the audience, put a one in the comment if you are actually looking for a relationship? You truly want to be in a relationship long term with someone moving towards. This is men and women. I don't want it just, I want everybody, right?
What's Bert talking about?
I
45.
can't stand Bert. I can't stand Bert.
Okay. Okay. At the same time is how many of you guys are actively looking? If you're actively looking, put a one in the box. I mean, put a two in the box. Sorry, if you're actively looking.
Not 46, Bert.
46, bro. 88. I can work with that. That's my favorite number. I can work with 8. I can work with 8.
That's why he banned right now. What you eating, Black Jesus?
All right.
Cucumbers with some hummus. I'm trying to watch my girlish figure. I'm up to like 228, and I want to get back down and shred.
Okay.
It's time for me to shred and just get nasty on you. Y'all don't even know.
Summer's
I'm about
coming.
to be disgusting out in these streets.
I'm with you. I just completed my workout room in my house, so I feel you.
Yeah,
Right.
my girlfriend is feeding me too good. She's putting weight on my ass. Every time I go over to her house, she got 3 or 4 different meals laid out, chicken and 2 different types of soup and this. And I'm like, damn, woman, like I just, and she already got a drink waiting for me. I come over, anytime I come over, she got a drink that she already got mixed and it'll be sitting there in the refrigerator for me. And then she got 3 different meals on the damn stove. So I'm like, girl, you fattening me up for the kill.
Real quick, and I'm gonna let Red, continue with his thing. Black Jesus, let me ask you. First off, I enjoyed everybody on this panel. J Love, you was on fire last night, and we really need this conversation. But my question, really quick, Black Jesus, man, do you cook? I mean, you always talking about your girl cooking, but do you cook?
Me, yeah. I cook. I'll do like I'm good at steaks. I'm a monster on the barbecue. I'm a grill. I'm a grill soldier and monster. I make a mean ass spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? I got the basics down. I got the dad
Right.
basics. If any of y'all
Right.
ever if y'all was raised by y'all dad, you know how your dad had a couple of things he could do that he did the shit out of. That's me. I got you. Now, if my kids, sometimes I got to do some takeout just to switch it up and shit. Cause I only got about 6, 7 dishes I can do, and then that rotation, so. But I got some skills, man. I got some skills. But on the barbecue grill,
right. Well, the only reason I ask is because we have a lot of women that believe that men can't cook. And we hear this thing that men they're looking for a maid, they're looking for some sort of subservient type, and I just wanted to bring that out that, a lot of men got basic survival skills. They can cook.
Yeah.
Red, go ahead. I'm going to talk about another issue in a minute.
Yeah, my lady will come over, and there are times where I'll invite her over, and I'll do all the cooking, and she'll just sit in the kitchen, and keep me company, and she'll keep pouring me glasses of wine, make sure my wine glass stays full, and we got some music in the background, and I'll cook and we'll talk and all of that. So yeah, no,
That's just
but
her
she does
trying to get
most
you
of the
drunk and
cooking.
take advantage of you. That's all it is. That's why she keep
Yeah,
you
yeah,
glasses.
that's
That's it. That's
that's
all the
that's
reason
what's
why.
gonna happen.
I'm just
Like
telling
that's
you.
the one thing I be like. I tell her, I say, listen. I be like, don't listen. I'm a grown ass man. Don't slap me on the ass, okay? Because I'll be walking around the kitchen and I'm cooking, and I get like 4 or 5 slaps on the ass. I'm like, girl, keep your hands off my booty, you know. But she slapped me on the ass. I'm like, no, that's you get slapped on the ass. I'm the ass slapper around here. I don't get my ass slapped, okay? I do the ass slapping. So, but go ahead, Red Scorpion. I know you were drawing us to a larger point.
Right. So and I'm going to make this assumption that everybody in this room is between the ages of, you just say, 25 and up, right? So all of those who put their ones and their twos in the box, my last question for you is, not my last question is, I said that wrong. I want to say, what are we doing? Okay. Think about this. Look at your lineage. Look at your parents, right? Look how long, if they're still alive, great. If they're in a relationship and they're still alive, better. If if that number is up in the, like Black Jesus was saying, in the 60s, that they've been together and they've been doing that, think about how that equates to you, because we are a product of everything that is around us, and particularly our parents. So if you're a person who is, let's just say you grew up with your dad, and uh, your dad is 80 he passed away at 84 years old, and you're 45 right now. Understand that the possibility of you passing at that same age is coming. So I want to ask that question of, what are you doing? See, we're talking about this in the ideas of submission. We're talking about what gender roles are. We're talking about, who should do what, how women are masculine, how men are soft, how some are disrespectful, and both ends of it. We talk about all of that. But the question is what are you doing? Because if you're not actually thinking about this in a practical application to make it work for yourself, you're wasting your time. That's all you're doing, and you're wasting your time in this when you can actually be out there getting it done. When you can actually be out there having an actual relationship to work in within yourself, right? You need to stop and step away from the nonsense when you actually are looking to cultivate something, because relationship is cultivation. So think about it as a plant. Some people don't have the ability to grow a plant. That's fine, but you understand people. Okay. So in cultivation of a plant, you understand the concept. All you have to do is give it nurture and intention, and that comes from both sides. It doesn't come from one, and you will get an actual positive outcome. So what I mean by what are you doing? Let's change. If you have an issue with the word submission or cooperation or willful cooperation or the ability to get along, let's just change in your mind. You can't change the words. Let's change in your mind how you deal with it. How are you going to deal with the factor that you're going to have to work with someone in a relationship? And in that work, yes, there's going to be ups, and damn sure there's going to be downs, but the downs should never be so down to where you guys can't work through it, because that's where communication comes into play. And if you're sitting here and you're worrying about who is submissive or not, then you're missing the mark. You're missing what you're supposed to be doing out here, because you're wasting your time. If you're 45 years old and you're still complaining about submission, man or female, you're wasting your time, because you don't have another 50 years. You just simply don't. The average person is dying at 80 years old in America, guys. Okay? So if you're 50, you got 30 years left. What are you going to do with that 30 years? The last 50 went like that. What are you doing? Wake up. Let's stop all the infighting about absolute stupid words. Let's stop all the infighting about, oh my God, well, she's not doing. Look, as a woman, you know what you need to do as far as a guy. You know what you're looking for. Okay? Become what that guy needs, and then he will find you and you will find him. Opposite for men. Become what you need, he will find you, and she will find you, and you will find him. That's how it works. It's organic. And we got to stop with all of the nuancing, the picking apart of little bullshit so that we can get to one step. Again, we've been talking about this shit. We've been talking about this for the last year, easily. I know I have. I've been hearing it constantly, and it has made no progression. But yet we want the black community to come up. We want us to be better. We want us to get right. We want us to blah, 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 right? So how do we change? You have to change in your mindset that that word or any word like that that caused trigger for you, you need to go inside of yourself and figure out why. And then you need to get better with it. And then you need to work better within others. We need to start communicating with each other. We need to actually start acting like we give two shits about each other when we've been running around here acting like we do, and we really show that we don't. We got men infighting. Men calling each other all kinds of crazy names. We got women calling each other all kinds of crazy names. We can't seem to get it together. We got the aging thing. Oh, well, you're 30 or you're 60, so you don't understand and I don't understand and you ain't this and you ain't that. We're doing a whole bunch of this. Nobody is solving the problem. Solve the problem within yourself, and then you can solve that same problem amongst the people that are around you. That's the only direction that I wanted to go with this, because it really is emotionally draining when I come on here and I see my people who are the most creative, the most intelligent, the most capable, the strongest, the most spiritual, stuck in a place that they don't have to be stuck. We're worrying about all of what it shoulda, woulda, coulda been instead of what we're doing right now. Come on, guys. Let's get it together. Let's be better within ourselves, because this community, us as Black people, are amazing. Look at what we've accomplished through all our adversity. Now imagine if we just actually focused 10% of that energy that we have on marching and trying to take care of social justices and trying to create financial wealth for ourselves and trying to get out of the whole the construct of the American concept of what we were vice what we are. If we just take 10% of that energy and focus it on being in actual relationships, and we actually communicate with one another, and when we walk, and if we have to walk away from said relationship, we can walk away as actual friends. We can walk away as people who understand that you were just not for me at that moment in time in my life. And it doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. It just means that you were not for me. Now we can move and be better together, right? And even though I may pass you in the street, hey, and keep it moving. You know, it's sad, and it brings me, honestly, it brings me to tears at night, because I sit and I think about the state of everything for what we're doing, and I go, why do we have to continuously do this, and we expect better outcome without doing better? This is about a state of being, not a state of mind. Let's get back into our state of being, because we can go back to history and look at that and say, when we were being this way, this is when we were better. When we started thinking we should be this way, then we became worse. Let's get back to that, people.
I think that you know, I hear what you're saying, Red, and it makes sense. However, I do still see a need for the conversations, because we have another generation that's trying to understand. And I think that this is the reason why we're having these conversations anyway, because remember, we hadn't have to have these conversations. I've never seen my grandmother and grandfather have a conversation about who was submissive, who was masculine, and who was the female, and who was the male, and how do you define a
Exactly.
woman, and all of these these are new conversations for a new generation, trying to understand the family dynamic, trying to understand
Exactly.
the new direction. I think it's politics. I think it's media. I think it's all these things, Red, that are bombarding our community once again, with something that now we have to do. Now, what you said, I agree with that in terms of the adulting, right? In terms of us trying to get on the good foot and making these changes, like you said. But we have another generation that's coming up, and they are trying to define what is family, what is gender role, what is the family structure. I mean, it's just so many things. What is a woman? What should a man be? Modern men, modern women, modern women versus traditional, all of these things. And they are generations, 19 and 20 and 21, they're trying to understand. And so what I believe as the adult, as adults in this generation that we're in, that who we are, I'm thinking that we need to get back and show them the way and pass these things down. Like the conversation that we had yesterday, with about the age difference and how the younger generation feels like they're not being heard. You know what I'm saying? So they feel like they're not being heard. And so they need to hear these conversations, because I think that our younger generation is actually trying to understand how to do all this. Should I be a modern woman? Should I be a modern man? Should I change what I think about what a woman is or what a man is? What should we do? And what advice do you all have for us? So I still think that we need to pass down what we do know as we work out with one another. I think that we still have to have these conversations so that they can understand what works. What works.
Yeah,
And I think
I
like I
agree,
said,
Kana. I agree
I was
absolutely 100% with what you said, Kana.
If you could
yeah,
allow
I
me
was lucky. Like I said, I got to see my grandparents get along for 60 years. I was born from marriage. Both of my parents on both sides, they were born from marriages that lasted until the end of life. The vast majority of people on my father's side, all of them got married, stay married, and all of that. And on my mother's side, I got a whole bunch of single, independent women, and couldn't nobody tell nothing. But that was the impoverished side of my family. So the impoverished side of my family, they didn't. The women were all single, independent, didn't need men. The women all had multiple kids by multiple men. The women were all, city girls before there was a such thing as city girls. And then on my father's side of the family, it was nothing but marriages. Nothing but marriages. And I'm
Wow.
watching them succeed. And oh, my uncle's the president of the Fago Corporation. This uncle's this, that. My cousin's the DA for the city of Detroit. This the boom, 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 boom. Oh, they're all accomplished, graduated, boom, 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 boom. And you're seeing their life. And so for me, I was born in a position where when I went to one family event, everybody's got on matching T-shirts with our last name across the top, and it's a sign of pride, right? And then I go to another family event, and it's madness. It's fucking chaos because there's no order, and the women are all in charge, and the men are just little boys that are showing up to eat and this, that, and the other, and leaving, and they're nowhere to be found. And then anybody that is doing well doesn't even deal with that side of the family anymore. They don't deal with any of them, and I used to always thank them for that. I used to always look at him and be like, man, he don't even fuck with us no more. And then I got older, and then I accepted the responsibility of becoming somebody. And then I was like, damn, I can't deal with them. I don't have the emotional space for it, or the level of drama that gets brought into my life by trying to help them to stay on track or settle affairs. Like it just was, and it was costing me so much money. I bought like 5 cars. I bought 5 cars for female cousins and aunts and shit, where I'm like, all right, well, let's find a car on this website. Boom, boom, boom. Here, I'll give you $4,000. You put $1,000 up. Now you got a car or something that's consistent. Like I bought like 4 or 5 cars at this point because it's just constant, nonstop. Nobody is in order because the family structures are all bullshit. They're all different kids by different men and a whole bunch of women that did it. And then on my father's side, it's all marriages and order and accomplishment and consistency and generational wealth. So I agree with you ladies, and I agree with Red Scorpion as well, that you're running out of time. Your time is finite here, and at some point you're going to have to decide if what you want out of life is more important than these fucking points that you're arguing about all the time. And I think that was the point that Red Scorpion was really making, was that you're arguing against submission and you're arguing against this, that, and the third. But at some point, you need to accept the fact that until you get comfortable with some of these concepts and figure out how they apply to you, you're not going to have a long-term meaningful relationship with anybody who has their shit together, and your time is finite. So what is more important to you? Do you want to be right and alone, or do you want to be together? What do you want?
Well, here's the other piece. I want to say that, sis, I completely agree with the conversations need to be had, right? But here's how the conversations could be had, right? Is for the older generation, we understand the concepts, but we're fighting against them and we're fighting each other against them. And then that in turns trickle down effect, right? It's like trickle down economics. It don't work. We know that, but we got it, right? So we're sitting here and we're doing a trickle down economics idealism in relationships, right? But we're not what we're not doing as the older generation or the people who are older is showing on top of that, right? Show that you can, show that you're capable, right? Show that you're in. And therefore the youngers can look at us and go, okay, I hear what they're saying. Now explain in depth what you actually do, because this is what you're actually doing, right? Because that's what they want to hear, truly, if you really want to be honest about it. They want to not hear what you did, but they want to hear what you're doing, because that's what matters, right? So now here we go with us. Then we will move forward and going and being able to talk to the younger ones and say, hey, listen, I see what you're doing, young dude, but check this out. Maybe you need to rethink on the idea of of what you believe submission is, right? Because the way that you're coming at it right now is a little draconian in its way, right? So
Right.
you're not going to get a response from a person. And if you really think about it and we apply practical application, that means taking the situation, putting it on yourself and seeing does it work. So you turn around and you go, well, you know what? If someone were to say that to me, how would I take that? If someone were to talk to me that way, what would I do? Right? So if that's the case and you don't like it, think about now you have to actually turn that around again and go, well, I wouldn't like it. So why the hell would I say it to that person? Now we can actually have dialogue. Now we can actually have forward movement, because we're talking in a way of understanding and getting to comprehension, not talking just to be talking and giving out what we think is the issue and how we think we can finish it. And sis, I don't believe that's what you were saying. I'm just adding into the factor is that we have to, if we show and again go to a state of being, if we are all in the older realm, being in a place of what a relationship is, like J Love talks about, with her and her husband, what she showed in for her and her husband, like, that should have never happened. I'm sorry, Love, that happened to you, that someone would just say, oh, I don't even think you married. That's garbage. Like, wow. But more importantly is that,
It happens
we
every day, Red Scorpion. Believe it or not, every day I get told
know.
she ain't
This
even
is what
married.
you're saying, man.
Okay.
And that's why I get confused by that, because I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it's what we need to boil down to is we need to again just be a state of being, and some of us are out here doing it, and some of us are not. So I'm not talking about the ones who are. I'm talking about the ones who are not. So if you're not working, actively trying to work in a relationship with someone, knowing that that's what you want, but you have all of these criterias that you have to actually have done. Oh, I'm looking at myself right now, or I'm happily single. All of these buzzwords and all that other bullshit. Knowing this is what you want in the long run. Again, learn how to work with someone. Take all of those things off the table in the concept that you have them, not in the application that they are, but the concept that you have them, and try to work that concept so that you can move forward, you can be you can project a better. Again, the trickle
Yeah,
down
well,
effect
I
actually
think
works.
that I think that one of the things that you brought out at the beginning with your questions was really important. And that was, you were like, how many of you actually want a relationship? How many of you are doing a goddamn thing to get one? You got a lot of people that are muddling and obfuscating the conversation that we're having as a community. And then you talk to them and they say, well, who says the end goal is marriage? Well, what the fuck do you think we're talking about? Why are you a part of this conversation if you don't want a relationship? If you hate men, why are you in a conversation about how to be with one? If you hate women, why are you in a conversation about how to be with one? If you hate black women, why are you in a conversation about black women and how to get together with them? If you hate black men, right? So we got a lot of people who don't realize that they ain't got nothing better to do. They want attention or whatever the hell it is that's driving them, but they whether they want a relationship or not, they're not willing to admit it to other people or to themselves, and they want to come into the conversation and throw in their 2 cents. And the truth of the situation is you don't have anything meaningful to offer. Let's say that I were to come online and I was like, you know what, all black women are like this. This is how they all are. Let's say you grant that argument as a black woman. You say, okay, fine, you're right. Where the fuck does that leave us? If all of you are trash, then where does that leave us? Then that leaves us nowhere. So I have to be able in conversation to make space for the fact that we have incredible black women in our community and that they need husbands. And so that's the way I look at it. And I ask myself, okay, if we have incredible black women in our community, they want to be married, they need good husbands. So what do these men need to be about? What is a realistic thing to ask of these men, right, while simultaneously making them worthy of these women that we know we have in our community, and vice versa? And oftentimes, what people are doing is they're so busy trying to argue their different positions that we aren't talking about what is it going to look like. Let's say we could snap our fingers and make it all work. What would it look like? What would it look like? What does equity for you as a woman look like while still allowing your man to be in a leadership position in a relationship, right? What are the responsibilities that come along with being in a leadership position in a relationship look like as a man, right? What do those responsibilities look like? And what is it that you need from a woman if you're going to take on the weight of that, right? So let's define those concepts there so that people know what this looks like when it works, as opposed to just saying you suck and you suck too, and it's because of your mama or your daddy. Not like I talk about the problem. I talk about the out of wedlock childbirth in our community, right? And I talk about that because I believe the number one problem facing the black community is not racism, colorism, sexism. It ain't the patriarchy. It ain't intersectionality. It's none of that shit. The number one problem in the black community is that when we're making other black people, we are not doing what we can to bring them into the most stable environment we can possible before they are being made. They're being brought into situations where their financial, emotional, even the most basic needs when it comes to shelter and food, the consistency of access to school, these basic needs are not being met because you got a woman who decided to have a child by an irresponsible man. So I'm holding the man accountable. I call him irresponsible, but I hold the woman accountable too, because she's irresponsible as well, because she chose to make a person with somebody who didn't want to make a person with you. And so we have to talk about that and get honest about that so that we can stop doing it. And it's not about a blame game, because there's both irresponsible men and irresponsible women. But if we keep trying to give one of them a pass, and nobody's giving any men a pass, right? We are comfortable calling these guys Pookies and Ray Rays and all the other shit under the sun. Nobody is giving them a pass. But we are uncomfortable, and our women are uncomfortable, saying that women who do this are wrong too. They say, no, these guys are victims. They got tricked, all of this bullshit. And as long as you keep giving people a way out where they don't have to be honest about how they fucked their own lives up, then we are inviting more people to fuck their lives up in the same way, because they don't have to get real about what choices lead you to these outcomes. So that's why I have the conversation about the community. It's not because I want to diminish our women. I don't have a desire to diminish our women. I don't see our women as a diminished group of women. I don't see them as lower or lesser. I see them as the epitome. They're the zenith of women, right? But the mindset that we have in our community, there's something I call dominant narratives. Okay, a dominant narrative is composed of three different things. What are you saying to yourself, right? What are you saying to what are we saying to one another? And what is the media saying to us? What are the messaging that's given to us? And the dominant narrative on the female side is I'm single, I'm independent, I don't need a man. I want you, I don't need you. Body count don't matter. Now look, if we add all of those things up, what type of choices and outcomes do we get if that's the basis for thinking on the female side? Well, you get a whole bunch of women who need a man, don't want a man, or want a man, don't need a man. That means I can raise my children without you. I'm single, I'm independent, I don't need a man. That means I can go through my whole life without ever focusing anything about myself on getting a relationship, right? And a body count don't matter. It means I can have sex with whoever I want. I can have children with whoever I want. We don't need to be married. We don't need to establish a family. So when you take those dominant narratives and you look at the impact of what those are, it equals no community. So you can't say that you're in line with trying to have a community while simultaneously accepting, espousing, propagating a narrative that is anti-community. It's anti-family because the building block of a family is, or the building block of a community is a family. You build a family first, and then you get access to the cousins and brothers and aunties and uncles and sisters and nephews and this, and that's your extended family and extra support system. And then all of you guys are helping each other and doing business together, and that creates community. And that doing that on a large scale creates group economics. And then when we have that, then the funds can be sent and create structures for us to deal with our own government and our own political system with associations, affiliations, and organizations that are being well funded by Black dollars around Black issues. And then we can go ahead and fight the white man. But y'all talking like we're supposed to get together when we 13% of the country's population, 80% of the children being born outside of wedlock, right? The community is destitute, and the women are talking about taking on the white man. You want to fight the most powerful government, the most powerful military in the history of the whole world as a ragtag group of disjointed people who can't spell family. Get the fuck out. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. And that's why we've been doing this shit on this feminist narrative that the women need to be in charge. And this, let me tell you what women in charge means. Women in charge means no man is going to sign up under your leadership. So that means division. That's what that means. It means you're going to be doing it on your own. That's what that means. And so that's what we've had. And that's why when you see the marches and all of that shit, there's a whole bunch of women and they're marching and they're saying, no, Trayvon Martin, this, Eric Garner. Like, I get it. I get it. I get it. But I don't need that from you. I need you to be a wife. I need you, the way you're going to save the Black community, Black woman, is by starting a Black family. That's how you're going to do it. You're not going to do it on a picket line, and you're not going to do it marching. You're going to do it by starting a Black family with a Black man. That's how you're going to save the community. That's how we're going to do it.
Black Jesus. I just wanted to say this real quick, and I'm a drop. I mean, I love your conversations. I love what's going on. I love the dialogue, and typically, we as Black people, because as remember, we like to call names and we like to call people bald head and you big old head and all kinds of stuff. I don't do that. My parents brought me up. My parents brought me up not to call names and to be respectful of people. And to Kana, we were on the live yesterday. We were talking about the young girl, and I think it's Wake Forest University, that bucked at the teacher and got arrested, right? And I'm saying all this to say that the feminist agenda is exactly what we were talking about last night. That's what led into this, I believe. This young girl disrespecting a grown woman, and this is how she's going to move for the rest of her life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no consequences. I can talk to anybody the way I want to talk to. But here's the thing, because the whole reason why I wanted to come on your live, and it was 20, 30 minutes ago probably, is somebody was talking about therapy and why black men don't go to therapy. And like you said, when I got out of my marriage, that was the first thing I did. I went to therapy. I said, you know what? I got to find out what is going on with me and how I selected the woman that I chose, and just look at I want to call it the collateral damage of my relationship. Because when you get a divorce, and I filed for divorce, I filed. When you get a divorce, three people die: the husband, the wife, and the marriage, the God in the marriage. Okay. And the thing for me was, and I look at it like this, that the passport bros, they're doing their thing because they're tired. They're like, you know what? I tried this, I tried that, and the women in America, black, white, whatever, they're just not feminine. They're, as you were saying, they're not looking for relationships. They're looking for complaints, you know? So I had to understand that. And for me, I realized, and I'll just say it as the elder of the group, I'm 60 years old. And I look back and I saw, my past and my parents and how they were brought up, because they were World War II generation. They didn't have a whole bunch of women do this and men do that, and it's a generational thing. And that's why I believe, like Kanan, you said, we have to have this discussion, because we're not like